In life, the way you think has the power to shape everything. If you've ever faced challenges, doubts, or setbacks, you know how easy it is for negativity to creep in. But what if I told you that your mindset, your ability to choose positive thoughts, can be the deciding factor in whether you succeed or fail? The truth is, positive thinking is not just about feeling good, it's about making things happen. When you choose to think positively, you are making a conscious decision to move forward, to see opportunities even when obstacles appear. It's about training your mind to focus on solutions instead of problems, to believe in your ability to overcome whatever comes your way. The power of positive thinking isn't some fluffy idea, it's a practical, proven tool that can help you achieve your goals and create the life you want. In this audiobook, we're going to explore exactly how positive thinking works, how it influences your actions, and how you can start using it right now to change the way you approach challenges. If you've ever wondered why some people seem to bounce back from setbacks stronger, it's because they've mastered the art of positive thinking. And the best part is, you can do the same. Stick around, because by the end of this, you'll have practical, actionable insights to help you train your mind for success, build the confidence you need, and keep pushing forward, no matter what. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. Start controlling your thoughts to shape your reality. Your entire life begins and ends in your mind. Before anything exists in the real world, it first lives in your thoughts. The direction of your future, the quality of your daily experience, the way you respond to challenges, all of it is determined by what you allow to take root in your thinking. Most people are unaware of how much power they're handing over by not paying attention to their thoughts. They react to their environment, get swept away by random emotions, and absorb the noise of the world without ever questioning how it's shaping them. But the moment you begin to consciously take control of your mind, everything begins to change. This chapter isn't about pretending everything is perfect. It's about developing the discipline to notice when your thoughts are dragging you down and choosing not to follow them. It's about understanding that no one else can think for you. No one else can decide what mindset you will carry into the world each day. And once you begin to own that responsibility, you stop being a victim of life and start becoming the architect of it. Everything starts with awareness. You can't control what you don't notice. Most people don't realize how often their minds slip into negativity. Doubt creeps in quietly. Worry becomes a habit. Anger finds a home because it's never questioned, and slowly, without realizing it, you begin to live through a lens of fear, limitation, and self-sabotage. The way you interpret things begins to change. The way you respond to situations becomes reactive and emotional instead of thoughtful and measured. And this becomes the pattern that defines your life, unless you take control of your thinking. Thoughts are like seeds. They don't look like much at first. A single anxious thought might seem harmless. A flash of jealousy might pass unnoticed. But if these kinds of thoughts are planted repeatedly and left unchecked, they grow into beliefs. Beliefs shape perception. Perception becomes behavior, and behavior becomes identity. That's how powerful your mind is. The person you become is not just shaped by what happens to you, but how you interpret it, how you respond to it, and what you believe about it. And all of that lives inside your thoughts. Start by noticing what your mind gravitates toward when you wake up. Is it worry? Is it regret? Is it dread for the day ahead? Or is it clarity, gratitude, a strong sense of purpose? These aren't just feelings, they're patterns. And the beautiful thing about patterns is that they can be changed, but it takes intention. You don't shift your mindset by accident. You shift it by training it, by catching the patterns early, and by deciding over and over again to focus on what makes you stronger, not weaker. There's a reason some people thrive under pressure while others collapse. It's not that one is lucky and the other is cursed. It's because one has learned how to shape their thinking under fire, and the other hasn't. The world doesn't give you peace. It doesn't hand you confidence. It certainly won't gift you mental strength. Those are all things you build for yourself, brick by brick, by the way you think. You shape them through repetition, discipline, and self-awareness. When a challenge comes, you can say, "Why is this happening to me?" Or you can say, "This is exactly what I needed to grow." That one sentence changes everything. It puts you back in control. It reminds you that your interpretation is more powerful than the event itself. And that's the truth most people miss. The circumstances matter less than how you choose to respond to them. You can be in the same situation as someone else and live a completely different experience because your mindset is stronger. Start controlling your thoughts by pausing before reacting. When something triggers you, stop. Observe what your mind wants to do. Does it rush to blame someone? Does it jump to the worst-case scenario? Does it feed your insecurity? This is the moment of power. That tiny gap between stimulus and response is where your life is shaped. And most people never use it. They react without thinking. They let the emotion drive the action. And then they wonder why things keep repeating. But if you pause, reflect, and redirect, you begin to take ownership. That's when the real shift begins. You stop being someone who gets pushed around by life and become someone who moves through life with clarity and purpose. You're no longer reacting out of fear. You're responding with thoughtfulness and strength. And over time, this becomes your default way of thinking. It becomes your new standard. If you want to control your thoughts, you must also control what enters your mind. You cannot consume garbage all day and expect to think clearly. What you read, what you watch, who you talk to, these are not passive influences. They shape you. They form the background noise of your mind. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, your thoughts will reflect that. If you feed your mind with strength, wisdom, and positivity, you will begin to think differently. Be intentional about what you allow in. Read things that challenge and uplift you. Listen to people who speak from a place of strength. Avoid conversations that spiral into complaining and blaming. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you've decided to protect your mindset. And that is one of the most powerful choices you can make. Because once you protect your mind, you protect your future. Another way to control your thoughts is to journal. Writing down what you're thinking forces you to confront the patterns. It brings the subconscious to the surface. Most of the time, the mind runs in loops, repeating the same thoughts without awareness. But when you write them down, you gain perspective. You can ask, is this thought helping me or hurting me? Is it based on truth or fear? And from there, you can choose a better thought. Not a fake thought, a better one. One rooted in strength, not weakness. If you catch yourself thinking, "I'm not good enough," challenge it. Ask yourself, where's the proof? Is this thought based on facts or just emotion? Then shift it. Replace it with, "I'm still learning and I'm making progress every day." That small change moves you from shame to growth. And when you do that consistently, it transforms the way you show up in the world. People think that confidence comes first and then the right thoughts follow. But it's the other way around. The right thoughts come first, and the more you feed them, the more confidence you build. Because confidence is not about being perfect. It's about trusting yourself to handle whatever comes your way. And that trust is built in your thinking. Another key to controlling your thoughts is to stay present. Most of the fear and anxiety people feel is rooted in things that haven't even happened yet. The mind runs wild imagining worst-case scenarios. But if you bring yourself back to the present moment and focus only on what you can control right now, the fear loses its grip. The present moment is where your power lives. And the more you train your mind to stay here, the less it will drift into worry and regret. This takes practice. Your mind has been running a certain way for years. You can't expect it to shift overnight. But you can expect progress if you stay consistent. Controlling your thoughts is not about being perfect. It's about catching the pattern faster each time. It's about getting better at noticing when your mind is slipping into weakness and making the decision to redirect it towards strength. And this doesn't mean you never feel fear, doubt, or anger. Those are human emotions. But it means you don't let those emotions take over. You acknowledge them, understand them, and then choose a response that aligns with who you want to become. That's what it means to take control. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And that space between the two is where your freedom lives. When you realize this, everything changes. You stop identifying with the fear. You stop believing every insecure thought. You stop letting the past define your future. And you begin to live from a place of power, clarity, and peace. Every day, you have a choice. You can wake up and let the world decide how you feel, or you can wake up and decide it for yourself. You can let random thoughts shape your mindset, or you can take control and shape it intentionally. That choice made consistently is what separates the strong from the average. It's what separates a life of reaction from a life of purpose. Start small. When you catch a negative thought, pause and redirect it. When you feel doubt creeping in, speak truth to it. When your mind starts spiraling, take a breath, ground yourself in the present, and choose a better thought. Do this over and over again, and you will build a mind that serves you instead of sabotages you. Your life reflects your thinking. If you want to change your life, you must start by changing your thoughts. Nothing else comes before this. Not motivation, not opportunity, not even discipline. Because every habit, every behavior, and every result starts with a thought. And you have full control over which ones you choose to feed. Take that control seriously. Treat your thoughts like the foundation of your future, because they are. Protect your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. And begin each day with the decision to think like the person you are becoming, not the person you used to be. This is not a one-time lesson. This is a lifelong practice. But it's worth it, because when you learn to control your thoughts, you begin to shape your reality. And when you shape your reality, you create a life that reflects the strength, clarity, and purpose you've built from within. Chapter 2. Train your mind to focus only on solutions. Most people spend their lives fixated on problems. They wake up thinking about what's wrong. They talk about what they don't have, and they replay the same issues over and over again. Their attention is glued to the pain, the difficulty, the pressure. But what they don't realize is that where your focus goes, your energy flows. When you constantly give your attention to problems, you're feeding them, you're reinforcing them, you're keeping them alive by pouring your mental energy into what's broken instead of what can be built. That's why training your mind to focus only on solutions is one of the most powerful things you'll ever do. This is not about ignoring reality. It's about refusing to let problems dominate your thinking. There's always a better way to respond, a stronger mindset to adopt, a smarter move to make. But you can't access those options when you're trapped in the loop of what's wrong. The solution mindset begins with a simple decision: refuse to stay stuck in the same thoughts. When something doesn't go as planned, don't dwell on how bad it is. Start searching for what you can do next. That's the shift. You take your mind off the weight and turn it toward the way forward. Your brain is constantly scanning for patterns, and if it gets used to focusing on difficulties, it will default to that mode in every situation. You'll become someone who complains quickly, doubts yourself easily, and expects things to go wrong. But if you rewire that pattern, if you train yourself to see challenges as puzzles to solve, you unlock a new way of living. You become calm under pressure. You stop reacting emotionally. You begin to see every situation as something you can influence. This mental shift requires practice. Every time something difficult shows up in your life, you get a chance to build this new habit. The next time you hit a roadblock, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I do about it?" That question alone changes the direction of your thinking. It moves you out of helplessness and into personal power. It stops the spiral of complaining and opens the door to progress. People who grow fast are not the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who stay focused on how to rise, even while struggling. They don't waste energy replaying their mistakes. They use that energy to build a better plan. They look for lessons instead of looking for someone to blame. They ask the right questions. What are my options? What have I learned? What can I do better right now? When your mind is focused on solutions, you move faster. You don't waste hours worrying. You don't stay stuck in fear. You move into action quickly. You figure out the next step. You keep your energy forward. That momentum compounds. One solution leads to another. Progress begins to build. And before you know it, you've turned a problem that used to paralyze you into something you handled with strength. There's a mindset difference between people who solve problems and those who stay in them. It's not intelligence. It's not talent. It's mental discipline. People who solve problems don't wait for perfect conditions. They look for what's possible with what they have right now. They don't complain that the situation is hard. They accept that it's hard and get to work anyway. That mindset is available to anyone willing to train their focus. Start by paying attention to how you speak about problems. Are you saying things like, "There's nothing I can do," or "This is impossible"? Those are not statements of fact. Those are patterns of thinking, and they can be broken. Instead of saying, "I don't know what to do," say, "I'm figuring it out." Instead of saying, "It always goes wrong," say, "I'm learning how to handle this better." Those aren't just words, they're choices that direct your attention toward growth. The truth is, every time you face a challenge, there are two versions of you that can show up. One version focuses on what's missing, what's broken, and what's unfair. The other version focuses on what's possible, what's available, and what can be done next. The first version stays stuck. The second one moves forward, and you choose which version takes control, not once but every day, in every situation. This level of control comes from repetition. If you keep choosing the solution mindset, even when it's hard, your brain begins to adjust. It stops looking for reasons to quit and starts scanning for ways to grow. You become someone who rises fast, not because life gets easier, but because you get mentally stronger. That's how real growth works. It's not about avoiding problems, it's about responding to them with clarity and purpose. Solutions are always there, but most people are too distracted by their emotions to see them. Fear blocks your vision. Anger clouds your judgment. Anxiety makes you rush or freeze, but if you train yourself to stay calm, to take a deep breath and ask, what's the best move here? You begin to find answers that used to be hidden. It's not magic. It's clarity. And clarity comes from choosing focus over fear. This doesn't mean the answers will come instantly. Sometimes you won't know the full solution right away. But that's okay. You don't need all the answers at once. You just need to stay in motion. You need to ask better questions. You need to stay curious instead of frustrated. You need to keep your energy aimed forward. Even one small action can open the door to new ideas. That's how progress happens, one focused step at a time. In every difficult moment, ask yourself, what do I control? That question brings you back to your power. It stops you from blaming and starts you building. You may not control everything, but you always control your mindset, your effort and your next move. And that's more than enough to begin turning things around. The mistake people make is thinking they need to control everything before they act. That mindset delays growth. Real power comes from doing what you can with what you have now. Focus is not something you're born with. It's something you strengthen every day. Start by removing distractions. Stop feeding your mind with endless negativity. Stop giving your attention to people who talk problems without offering solutions. Be around people who think forward. Listen to voices that push you to grow. Train your brain to scan for possibilities, not pain. Make that your new habit. That's how you rewire your focus. It's easy to fall into the trap of overthinking. You get stuck analyzing the problem from every angle. But solutions don't come from overthinking. They come from clear, focused action. Stop trying to solve everything in your head. Start taking small steps. Test new ideas. Learn from each result. Let progress teach you more than thinking ever could. That's how you build momentum. That's how you stop spinning and start moving. When something difficult happens, avoid the question, why me? It leads to helplessness. Instead ask, what now? That question moves you forward. That one shift in thinking puts your power back in your hands. You stop waiting for things to change and start becoming the person who changes them. That's the mindset that wins. Not just in business or success, but in life. Some people live their entire lives repeating the same struggles. Not because they lack talent, but because they never trained their minds to focus on what they can do. They become experts at describing the problem and amateurs at creating change. Don't be one of them. Make it your goal to get better at solving, not just noticing. Become the person who stays calm, gets focused, and moves forward, no matter how difficult things get. One of the most powerful skills you can build is the ability to focus your full mental energy on what you can improve instead of what you can't control. That shift alone will separate you from 99% of people, because most people are stuck in reaction mode. They live in survival thinking. But when you focus on solutions, you enter creation mode. You become someone who builds, who adapts, who evolves. The solution mindset also means not taking things personally. Problems are not punishments. They're part of life. When you stop tying every challenge to your self-worth, you gain perspective. You start seeing problems as part of the process, not reflections of your value. That shift frees you to act boldly, to make mistakes, to learn quickly. And that's where real progress begins. Build a routine around solution thinking. Every morning, ask yourself, what needs to be solved today? What challenge can I turn into an opportunity? Write it down. Map out possible actions. Focus your energy on forward motion. In the evening, reflect, what did I handle well? What can I do better tomorrow? This daily check-in keeps your mind aligned with progress. It keeps you focused on growth instead of survival. Solutions don't always feel good at first. They might be uncomfortable. They might require sacrifice. They might stretch you beyond your current limits. But that's how you grow. That's how you build the resilience that lasts. Avoiding discomfort is not a solution. Pretending everything is fine is not a solution. Real solutions demand action, courage and clarity. And you have all three if you train yourself to use them. Eventually your default thinking becomes, okay, this happened, what can I do about it? That shift makes you unstoppable, because life will never stop bringing challenges. But with the right focus you stop fearing them. You start respecting them as part of your journey. You start using them to build your strength. And each time you rise you get sharper, clearer, more confident. You don't need to control everything. You just need to control how you think. And when your thinking is aligned with solutions, your life starts to reflect that strength. You become someone who moves with purpose, someone who doesn't waste time stuck in what went wrong, someone who uses every challenge to get better. That's the kind of person who wins, not once but every time. Not by chance, but by choice. The choice to focus on what builds instead of what breaks. The choice to live forward. The choice to solve. Chapter 3. Eliminate negative self-talk from your daily thinking. The way you speak to yourself matters more than anything else in your life. Your self-talk is not just background noise, it becomes the filter through which you experience the world, make decisions, and take action. If your inner voice is constantly filled with doubt, shame, criticism, and fear, then even the best opportunities will feel out of reach. Negative self-talk isn't just unhelpful, it's damaging. It creates invisible barriers in your mind that hold you back from fully stepping into your potential. And it doesn't go away on its own. It needs to be confronted, corrected, and replaced with something stronger. Most people are unaware of how cruel they are to themselves. They wouldn't dare speak to a loved one the way they speak to themselves. They judge their past mistakes harshly. They anticipate failure before they even start. They repeat thoughts like, "I'm not good enough," "I always mess things up," or "no one takes me seriously," without ever realizing how much those statements weaken their confidence and distort their vision. Over time, those thoughts become so familiar that they start to feel like truth. But they're not truth. They're learned. They're habits. And like all habits, they can be broken. The first step to breaking negative self-talk is awareness. You have to catch it in the moment. You have to notice when that harsh inner critic shows up and pay attention to what it's saying. Not so you can believe it, but so you can challenge it. If you keep ignoring it, it keeps growing. If you face it, you take back your power. Every time a negative thought pops up, stop and ask yourself, is this helpful? Most of the time, it isn't. It's just noise. It's fear disguised as logic. It's pain trying to protect itself. It's old conditioning that no longer serves your present growth. When you identify these thoughts, don't argue with them emotionally. Disarm them with facts. Remind yourself of what you've done right. Recall the progress you've made. List the strengths you've shown during adversity. The voice that tells you you're not enough often has no evidence. It relies on repetition to feel real. You break that cycle by interrupting it with truth. Not sugar-coated positivity, but grounded reminders of who you actually are and what you've actually accomplished. You cannot eliminate negative self-talk by simply ignoring it. You need to replace it. Nature doesn't allow empty space. If you take out something harmful, you need to fill that space with something healthy. Start building a new language with yourself. A language of strength, calm, clarity, and self-respect. It doesn't have to sound like fake positivity. It needs to sound like reality spoken from the perspective of growth. When your mind says, "You always fail," replace it with, "I've failed before, but I've learned and I'm still growing." When it says, "You're not good enough," replace it with, "I'm improving every day, and that matters more than perfection." This is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about protecting your mindset from destructive thoughts that offer no value. The truth is, most people are fighting silent battles every day, not with others, but with themselves. They carry guilt from past decisions. They compare themselves constantly. They hold on to mistakes that happened years ago, and they allow these feelings to define how they think about their worth. But your value is not based on your worst moments. It's based on how you respond to them, and the response starts in your inner dialogue. Speak to yourself like someone who's on your side. This doesn't mean avoiding accountability. It means holding yourself accountable without cruelty. Growth doesn't require shame. It requires honesty and encouragement. Be honest about what needs to improve, but don't tie your identity to every mistake. Separate the behavior from your worth. You can own your actions without degrading yourself. That balance creates emotional strength. Negative self-talk often thrives in silence. When you don't challenge it, it becomes louder. You must become louder than your doubt, not by yelling, but by choosing stronger thoughts consistently. Think about how often you've said things to yourself like, "I'll never get this right," or "Everyone's better than me." Those thoughts don't motivate you. They shrink you. They create fear around trying. And that fear robs you of momentum. Your life is shaped by the thoughts you feed. Starve the ones that tear you down. People often confuse humility with self-criticism. Being humble means being grounded, not being harsh. You can be humble and still think well of yourself. You can acknowledge your weaknesses without letting them define you. A strong inner voice does not come from ego. It comes from clarity. It's knowing who you are, what you've been through, and what you're capable of becoming. That clarity silences the self-doubt that once felt so loud. Another key to eliminating negative self-talk is recognizing where it comes from. You weren't born with it. Somewhere along the way you absorbed it. Maybe it came from a parent, a teacher, a friend, or a failure. Maybe it was repeated so many times that it started to feel like your own voice. But it's not your voice. It's someone else's fear that got planted in your mind. You don't have to carry it anymore. You can question it, reject it, and replace it. You can build a new standard for how you speak to yourself. That new standard must be practiced daily. It's not enough to do it once. The old habits will try to creep back in when you're tired, stressed, or overwhelmed. You'll be tempted to fall into the familiar pattern of self-blame. But every time you catch it and choose a better thought, you're reprogramming your brain. You're laying new tracks. And those tracks eventually become your default path. That's how transformation happens, not through one big moment, but through thousands of small corrections over time. People often look for external motivation, but the most powerful source of strength is internal. It's the voice inside that says, "I can handle this when things get tough." It's the voice that says, "This doesn't define me when you make a mistake." It's the voice that says, "I'm proud of my effort, even when the outcome isn't perfect." That voice must be built intentionally. It doesn't show up by accident. It shows up because you've decided to respect yourself enough to speak with kindness. Your thoughts create emotional momentum. Negative self-talk drains your energy. It keeps you stuck in a mental fog. But when you speak to yourself with encouragement, your energy shifts. You become clearer, bolder, more focused. You stop second-guessing every move. You stop fearing judgment. You act with purpose because your inner voice supports your direction instead of resisting it. Start treating your self-talk like training. Every day you have the chance to get stronger. Write down the recurring negative thoughts you catch yourself repeating. Then write a stronger, more honest version of that thought. Read it until it feels natural. Repeat it during stressful moments. Speak it before important decisions. Over time, your mind will learn a new rhythm, and that rhythm will produce new levels of calm and confidence. The way you think about yourself sets the tone for every other part of your life. Relationships, goals, health, habits, they all begin in your mind. If your inner voice is filled with doubt and insult, it becomes harder to build anything meaningful. But when your thoughts align with strength and clarity, you show up differently. You stop looking for approval. You stop chasing perfection. You move with grounded confidence. That shift changes everything. You don't need to be loud or arrogant to be confident. True confidence is quiet. It's built on a stable inner foundation. It's the result of years spent developing a healthy relationship with yourself. That relationship starts with words. The words you think, the words you whisper, the words you repeat when no one else is around. Those words either build you or break you. You must choose which ones stay. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every fear deserves a response. Not every insult needs to be internalized. You are not a dumping ground for every negative opinion you've ever heard. You are not required to repeat thoughts that weaken your progress. You have the right to stop, delete, and replace any thought that does not serve your growth. This is a lifelong practice. You don't arrive at a perfect mindset and stay there forever. Life will challenge your thoughts. Stress will test your habits. But each challenge is also a chance to sharpen your inner voice. You become stronger by catching yourself faster, by choosing better words more often, by refusing to go backward into old mental loops that once held you hostage. Some days will be easier than others. Some moments will feel heavy. But the strength you build from speaking to yourself with truth and compassion will carry you through. You'll handle pressure better. You'll bounce back quicker. You'll think clearer. And you'll no longer waste energy fighting a war inside your own mind. That's what freedom feels like. Not the absence of problems, but the presence of a powerful inner voice guiding you through them. You are not your past. You are not your worst thoughts. You are not your weakest moment. You are the awareness behind those moments. And that awareness has the power to rewrite the story you tell yourself. Speak to yourself like someone worth respecting because you are. Speak like someone who believes in their ability to change because you can. Speak like someone who is building something strong because you are. This is your work now. Not to be perfect, not to avoid all mistakes, but to stay committed to treating yourself with the mental discipline and clarity required to grow. Eliminate the noise. Cut off the voices in your mind that only bring doubt. Feed the ones that build discipline, strength, and vision. Train your inner voice to be your ally. And watch how fast your life begins to reflect the power of your new thinking.
Chapter 4. Build daily gratitude to shift your mindset instantly. Gratitude is the mind's most powerful antidote to stress, negativity, and fear. It isn't something reserved for holidays or fleeting moments. It's a discipline, a mindset, and a daily practice that can radically improve the way you experience your life. Gratitude does not erase your problems. It rewires your perspective so you stop being consumed by them. It trains your attention to recognize what's going right, even when a part of your life feels like it's falling apart.
It reminds you that even in the middle of chaos, there are still things working in your favor. You begin to change the moment you stop waiting for perfect circumstances to feel thankful. That's what separates growth-minded people from those who stay stuck. They don't wait for everything to align. They look for something, anything, to appreciate right now, and they build on that. They understand that appreciation is not about ignoring problems. It's about developing the mental strength to focus on what fuels you rather than what drains you. And once you train your mind to do this every day, your emotional resilience becomes unshakable. Gratitude is not just a feel-good emotion, it's a skill. And like any skill, it takes repetition. Most people think of gratitude as a passive feeling that shows up randomly. But those who thrive under pressure know the truth. Gratitude is a deliberate habit. You have to remind yourself constantly. You have to write it down, speak it out loud, and reflect on it until it becomes second nature. It's not always easy, especially on hard days. But those are the days it matters the most. Gratitude becomes your anchor when life feels unstable. It gives you a solid ground to stand on when everything else feels uncertain. The real shift happens when you stop needing something big to be grateful. You don't need a promotion, a vacation, or someone else's validation to feel thankful. You need presence. You need awareness. You need the courage to slow down and notice the things you usually overlook. Your ability to think clearly, the fact that you woke up today, the roof over your head, the people who care about you, your access to clean water, the lessons from your failures, the chance to try again. When you start seeing these things not as givens but as gifts, your mind starts changing. It becomes quieter, more focused, more grounded in the now. One of the most immediate benefits of daily gratitude is that it interrupts the mental habit of complaining. Complaining feels easy. It gives you a moment of relief, a temporary outlet. But it doesn't change anything. It makes you more focused on problems and more blind to solutions. Gratitude, on the other hand, opens your mind. It expands your thinking. It puts you in a state where solutions become clearer because you're no longer stuck in a loop of frustration. When your mindset shifts from "I don't have enough" to "I already have something valuable," you stop chasing things that don't matter and start building on what does. Gratitude doesn't make you passive. It makes you powerful. People often think that if they're too grateful, they'll stop striving for more. But that's not what happens. Gratitude doesn't kill ambition. It gives it purpose. It helps you chase better things, not just more things. When you come from a place of wholeness rather than lack, your goals are driven by vision instead of insecurity. You stop needing external success to prove your worth. You start creating from a place of inner abundance, and that kind of mindset can't be shaken by temporary setbacks. There's also something deeply humbling about practicing gratitude. It reminds you that you're not entitled to anything. You're not guaranteed another day, another breath, another opportunity. Everything you have, no matter how small, is something that could be taken away. This awareness doesn't make you fearful. It makes you more alive. It makes you more present. It makes you treat the people around you with more care. It makes you show up to your responsibilities with more heart. Gratitude keeps you grounded in what matters most. You can begin the practice of daily gratitude right now. It doesn't require any tools, rituals, or complex systems. It just takes a decision to pause and pay attention. Every morning, before your mind gets pulled into the noise of the world, take 5 minutes to focus on what's going right. It can be as simple as having a quiet space to think, a body that's still capable of movement, or the lessons you've learned through pain. Write them down, speak them out loud, say them to yourself in moments of stress. This is not about being unrealistic, it's about being intentional. You're training your brain to look for what's empowering, not what's defeating. Over time, this practice becomes a form of emotional armor. When things go wrong, and they will, you'll feel the impact, but you won't stay stuck. Gratitude keeps your perspective strong. It stops you from catastrophizing. It helps you recover faster because your mind is trained to notice possibilities instead of just problems. It's the quiet voice that says, yes, this is hard, but I've made it through harder, and I still have something to work with. That inner voice can only be built through repetition. You have to feed it every single day. People who live with daily gratitude are not naive. They just refuse to let pain control their focus. They have the same struggles, the same pressures, the same responsibilities, but they handle them differently because their mindset is built on appreciation, not entitlement. They find meaning in small moments. They stay calm when others panic. They build relationships with depth because they see people as blessings, not as burdens. And they keep moving forward, not because life is easy, but because their perspective makes it easier to keep going. If you want to shift your mindset instantly, train yourself to notice the good in real time. Don't wait until the end of the day to be thankful. Look for it while you're in the middle of doing something. While you're eating, working, walking, talking, ask yourself, what's one thing I can appreciate right now? That question interrupts negative thinking. It puts you back in the present. It calms your nervous system. It teaches your brain that even under pressure, there's always something you can hold on to. Gratitude also strengthens relationships. When you appreciate people openly and consistently, the connection deepens. You stop taking people for granted. You become more generous with your energy, more attentive to their needs, more understanding of their imperfections. Gratitude softens your ego and sharpens your empathy. And those two qualities make you a better friend, leader, partner, and human being. Start expressing gratitude not just in your head, but out loud. Say thank you to the people who show up for you. Compliment someone when they least expect it. Write a message of appreciation to someone who helped shape your life. These acts don't just benefit others, they reinforce your own sense of fulfillment. They remind you of how interconnected we are. They break the pattern of isolation that negative thinking often creates. Gratitude also teaches you patience. When you're focused on what's already working, you stop feeling desperate for instant results. You understand that growth takes time, that setbacks are part of the process, that success is built through consistency, not shortcuts. Gratitude slows your mind down enough to stay focused on the process instead of being obsessed with the outcome. And when you do reach your goals, gratitude keeps you grounded. It prevents you from becoming arrogant or careless. It reminds you that everything you achieved came from effort, yes, but also from the support of others, the opportunities you were given, and the timing you didn't control. That humility keeps your success sustainable. It protects your character as your progress increases. One of the most powerful ways to reinforce gratitude is to write a gratitude journal every night. Keep it simple. Just jot down 3 things that made the day better. They don't have to be big, they just have to be real. Maybe it was a peaceful moment of silence, a meaningful conversation, a small win at work. The more you write, the more your mind starts scanning the day for good things to notice. That's the real magic. Gratitude rewires your brain to focus on what's working, and when you focus on what's working, you start creating more of it. It's not just about feeling good, it's about thinking better. When your mind is full of appreciation, it functions more clearly. You make better decisions.
You handle conflict with more grace. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding with wisdom. Gratitude doesn't just shift your emotions, it shifts your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who's always behind, always lacking, always needing more. You start seeing yourself as someone who is already equipped, already progressing, already growing. This shift transforms how you wake up, how you work, how you speak, and how you treat people. It changes how you carry yourself. It gives you the strength to handle adversity and the maturity to enjoy success without losing yourself. It builds discipline not by force, but by giving you a reason to keep going, a reason rooted in appreciation for the life you're already living. You don't need to wait for your circumstances to change. You can start now. You can train your mind to become stronger, more peaceful, more focused, by practicing gratitude every day, especially when it feels hard. That's when it counts the most. When you feel tired, stressed, frustrated, or overwhelmed, don't run to distraction, don't complain, don't spiral. Pause, breathe, and find one thing, just one, to be grateful for in that exact moment. That moment of gratitude becomes your pivot. It becomes your turning point. It brings your attention back to what matters. And from that place of grounded focus, you can move forward with more clarity and less fear. You can speak with more kindness. You can act with more courage. And you can build a life that isn't just full of achievements, but full of meaning, peace, and strength. This is the discipline of gratitude, and if you practice it daily, it won't just change your thoughts. It will transform your entire experience of life. Not someday, not when things get easier, but now, starting with this exact moment.
Chapter 5. Practice optimism even when life feels difficult. Optimism isn't a blind denial of reality. It's the disciplined ability to hold on to hope, to stay mentally upright, even when life tries to knock you over. Practicing optimism in difficult moments is not about pretending everything is fine. It's about choosing to believe that things can improve even if they haven't yet. It's about seeing beyond the immediate pain and anchoring yourself in the belief that what you're going through won't last forever, and you're not powerless within it. When life hits hard, most people spiral. They focus on what's not working. They replay worst-case scenarios. They build mental prisons out of fear, doubt, and assumptions. Their vision narrows. Their energy drops. And they get stuck waiting for external change before they shift internally. But the ones who rise during adversity, the ones who still move forward, are the ones who don't wait for perfect conditions to think clearly. They build their clarity through choice. They say, yes, this is hard, but I won't let it destroy my attitude. That kind of inner strength doesn't show up randomly. It's forged through deliberate practice. Optimism is not soft. It's not weak. It's one of the toughest mindsets to maintain in a world that often tries to break your spirit. When you train yourself to stay optimistic in the middle of pain, you develop mental toughness that outlasts circumstance. You become the kind of person who can face the storm without folding, not because you're invincible, but because you've learned to focus on what's possible, not just on what's wrong. This mindset requires effort. It requires catching yourself in moments of mental decline and choosing not to feed the negative narrative. That internal voice that says, everything is falling apart, has to be challenged. You have to say, no, it's not everything, it's one situation. It's a setback, not a sentence. It's part of my path, not the end of it. This is how you break the automatic thinking that keeps people stuck in misery. You don't let your thoughts go unchecked. You slow down, examine them, and replace the destructive ones with thoughts that keep you mentally mobile. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens by habit. The habit of choosing what you focus on. The habit of asking better questions. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" you ask, "What can I learn here?" Instead of asking, "When will this end?" you ask, "How can I grow through this while I'm in it?" These shifts in language reshape the way your mind interprets pain. They don't erase it, but they stop you from drowning in it. Practicing optimism in hard times means refusing to let one moment define your whole story. It means recognizing that even your worst day doesn't cancel your potential. You're allowed to feel frustrated, tired, scared, but you don't have to live there. You can acknowledge your emotions without surrendering to them. You can experience pain and still move with hope. That's what strength really looks like. This doesn't mean being fake. It means being firm. It means choosing to see possibility in the middle of difficulty. It means choosing to speak life over your future, even when you don't feel it yet. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. They think optimism requires certainty. It doesn't. It just requires courage. The courage to believe in a better future without needing all the details figured out right now. It's a quiet confidence that says, "I don't know how, but I trust that I'll make it through this." You become stronger every time you decide not to give up on yourself. Every time you look at a tough situation and say, "I will grow from this," you are rewiring your brain to focus on progress instead of panic. This rewiring process takes time, but it's worth every second. Because eventually optimism becomes your default, not a forced act, not a fake smile, but a grounded belief that no matter what happens, you will rise, you will adjust, and you will find a way forward. When life gets heavy, most people retreat into worst-case thinking. They magnify everything. A small failure becomes a catastrophe. A delay becomes a disaster. But those who practice optimism train themselves to see reality through a lens of power, not helplessness. They don't deny the facts. They just don't get swallowed by fear. They stay present. They focus on what they can influence. They breathe. They simplify. And they keep moving. Optimism is also contagious. When you carry hope with you, people around you feel it. It changes the tone of your conversations. It shifts the energy in a room. It gives people permission to think bigger, to dream again, to believe in themselves. That's the ripple effect of one person choosing not to be defeated by difficulty. Your mindset becomes a gift, not just to yourself but to everyone you interact with. And it's in the daily practice that optimism becomes real. It's not a one-time decision. It's something you reinforce every single day, especially on days when it feels out of reach. You wake up and decide, "I will not let my fears run the show today." You remind yourself of the bigger picture. You remember how far you've come. You focus on your effort, your values, your growth. You don't ignore the pain, but you don't give it the power to dictate your entire mental state. People who live with sustained optimism don't wait for motivation. They create it. They know that the first thoughts of the day often shape the rest of it. So they set their intentions early. They speak to themselves with purpose. They take ownership of their mindset before the world has a chance to throw distractions and noise at them. They act from a place of clarity, not chaos. When setbacks happen, and they always do, they process them without getting trapped by them. They ask themselves honest questions. What went wrong? What can I learn? What's the next step I can take? They don't fall into shame or blame. They fall into reflection and strategy. That's what optimism allows you to do. It gives you a sense of direction.
even when the road ahead looks uncertain. Optimism also builds endurance. When you believe in your ability to overcome, you last longer in the process. You keep showing up. You keep refining your effort. You stop quitting every time it gets uncomfortable. And this consistency over time compounds into real meaningful progress. Not because things magically got easier, but because you got mentally stronger. No one is born optimistic. It's built. It's earned through repetition. It's forged in fire. It's learned by facing difficulty and refusing to be defined by it. You become optimistic by deciding that your attitude is more powerful than your environment. You become optimistic by choosing to speak life into your day instead of letting negativity dominate your thoughts. You become optimistic by practicing it over and over again until it's no longer a reaction but a habit. And the truth is, life doesn't owe you easy days. It offers you the chance to grow through what you go through. Optimism gives you the tools to make that growth possible. It gives you emotional strength when your circumstances feel weak. It gives you hope when progress feels slow. And it gives you clarity when everything around you is uncertain. Start by catching your thoughts. When you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself, what else could be true here? What am I learning? What strengths am I developing right now? What am I still in control of? These questions don't eliminate the hard parts, but they help you shift your focus. And focus is everything. What you focus on grows. Focus on fear, you'll feel more fear. Focus on strength, you'll feel more capable. You don't need perfect conditions to be optimistic. You just need the decision to show up with the right mindset. That's what separates the people who rise from the ones who give up too early. Optimism doesn't remove the pain, but it gives you power in the middle of it. And when you practice that kind of power daily, you stop being reactive. You start becoming intentional. You live with direction, not just desire. The most powerful form of optimism is rooted in action. You don't just think positive. You act in alignment with hope. You take the next best step, even when the path is unclear. You take care of your body, even if your mind feels tired. You speak with purpose, even when doubt tries to creep in. You keep building your future one small decision at a time. That's not delusion. That's discipline, and the more you practice, the more evidence you build that you can survive difficulty. That evidence becomes your foundation, so the next time life throws something unexpected at you, you don't collapse. You remember who you've become. You remember that you've handled pain before, and you remember that optimism isn't something you have to search for, it's something you've already built inside you. This mindset won't make life perfect, but it will make you powerful, and that power will carry you through days you thought you couldn't survive. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger, because you practiced optimism when it was hardest to find, because you refused to be a victim of your own thoughts, and because you kept believing in your future, even when the present felt unfair. That's the practice. That's the work. And if you stay consistent, it will change how you think, how you live, and how you lead. It starts now. Choose to carry hope. Choose to move with strength. Choose to believe that the best is still ahead, even if today feels heavy. Because the moment you choose that, your mindset begins to shift. And once your mindset shifts, your life will follow. Every single time.
Chapter 6. Replace complaints with action and honest effort. Complaining is easy. It gives you a temporary release. It makes you feel like you're doing something about the problem, even though you're not. It sounds like honesty, but in truth, it's often avoidance. You can talk about how hard things are all day long, and nothing changes until you start doing the work that solves what you're upset about. Complaining doesn't move your life forward. It keeps you mentally stuck in the same pattern. Every minute spent whining is a minute you're not solving. Every excuse you speak out loud is energy wasted that could have gone into a better decision. When you catch yourself complaining, pause, ask yourself, what could I be doing right now instead? That's the real shift. There's a huge difference between identifying a problem and becoming consumed by it. Complaints keep your mind anchored in what's wrong, while action pulls your attention toward progress. If you're not careful, you'll spend years complaining about things that are completely within your control to fix. You'll waste your power on blame and opinions. You'll convince yourself you're stuck, when the truth is, you haven't committed to taking the steps necessary to change anything. Replacing complaints with action requires self-honesty. You have to be willing to admit that you're part of the problem if you're not putting in the work. That kind of truth can hurt, but it's also what frees you. Because once you accept that your daily decisions are shaping your results, you can take full control of your life again. That's where growth begins, not in talking about what's wrong, but in doing something real to make it right. When you're constantly focused on what's missing, you blind yourself to what's possible. You become addicted to the cycle of frustration. You rehearse your struggles. You repeat the same sentences, and soon they become beliefs. This always happens to me. Things never go my way. I don't have enough time. These aren't facts. They're mental scripts you've practiced for so long they feel real. And the more you say them, the less likely you are to look for solutions. You've got to train yourself to stop mid-complaint and redirect your focus. It's a muscle. It takes practice. But each time you replace a complaint with effort, you get stronger. Each time you catch yourself talking about a problem, and instead decide to take one small step toward fixing it, you shift your entire mental framework. The energy you waste in frustration becomes fuel for progress. And make no mistake, this shift won't always feel satisfying. Complaining gives you emotional payoff. It gives you sympathy, validation, maybe even attention. Action, on the other hand, demands discipline. It asks for sweat. It might not give you immediate results, but in the long run, it gives you something far better than comfort. It gives you results. It builds self-respect. It teaches you that your voice means nothing without follow-through. There's something deeply powerful about becoming the kind of person who takes responsibility without needing to talk about it. Quiet workers change their lives while others are busy explaining why theirs aren't improving. The people who move the fastest toward their goals are the ones who spend the least time explaining their problems and the most time solving them. They don't advertise their struggle. They focus on execution. There's no need to announce that you're tired, frustrated, or overwhelmed. If you're working through it, the results will show. And if you're not, then your words won't mean much anyway. That's the truth most people try to avoid. Because it's easier to say, "I'm trying," than it is to actually try. It's easier to talk about potential than to live with consistency. But that consistency is what changes everything. When you stop making noise and start making moves, life starts to respond to you differently. You feel different. You walk with more clarity. You talk less about what's unfair and more about what's next. You start to build a foundation rooted in discipline, not emotion. And that's when your life begins to change at a fundamental level. Effort is the cure to almost every complaint. When you feel overwhelmed, don't talk about how much you have to do. Just start with the first task. When you're discouraged, don't dwell on how long it's taking. Just keep showing up. When you feel like you're not making progress, don't collapse into self-pity. revisit your plan, adjust your approach, and get back to work. These aren't grand gestures, they're simple choices, but made consistently, they change your future. Start small, start now. You don't need to wait for motivation. That's another lie we tell ourselves. I'll do it when I feel like it. If you wait for the right mood, you'll stay stuck forever. Your mood will lie to you. Your emotions will try to convince you it's okay to delay. But your future self is begging you to stop wasting time on complaints and start using that energy to build something real. Honest effort means showing up with intention, not excuses. It means doing the work whether or not anyone's watching. It means having integrity with your time, your word, and your commitment. You're not owed anything just for talking about your dreams. You only start to earn it when your actions align with your goals. Complaints are easy. Work is what separates the talkers from the builders. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take the next right step. And if that step doesn't work, take another. That's how forward momentum is built. One honest effort at a time, without fanfare, without applause, just a quiet commitment to move instead of moan. You don't rise by being louder. You rise by being better. You don't gain strength by explaining why you're weak. You gain it by choosing action when it's hardest to act. The moment you take a step forward, you reclaim power. You move from helplessness to intention. And that shift is what starts to reshape your reality. A lot of people are waiting for something external to change before they change internally. They say, when things settle down, I'll get serious. Once I get that opportunity, I'll give it my all. But that's backward. Life doesn't reward those who wait. It rewards those who work. And most of the time, the thing you think you're waiting on is actually waiting on you. Waiting on your discipline, waiting on your consistency, waiting on your courage to stop hiding behind complaints and start facing what's in front of you. When you take action, you become the solution. You stop outsourcing responsibility. You stop blaming people, time, circumstances, and luck. You start realizing that effort is a multiplier. It doesn't guarantee success, but it always brings you closer to it. Even a small move in the right direction builds momentum, and that momentum becomes habit, and that habit becomes a new identity, and that identity becomes your new life. Don't waste another day explaining why things aren't working. Use that time to do something different. Shift the conversation you're having with yourself. Replace "this sucks" with "this is a challenge I can rise to." Replace "I'm stuck" with "what's the next small move I can make." Replace "I don't feel like it" with "I'll do it anyway." These aren't motivational quotes, they're mental strategies, and if you apply them consistently, they change your trajectory. It's not about pretending everything is okay. It's about acting like your response still matters, even when things aren't. Complaining doesn't protect you from failure. It guarantees it. Action doesn't guarantee success, but it always gives you a chance, and that chance is everything. It's the difference between living with regret and living with purpose. You weren't born to explain why things are hard. You were born to do hard things. To rise when it's tough, to work when it's inconvenient, to act even when the odds feel against you. And if you stay in that mindset long enough, things start to shift. Not instantly, but undeniably. Your mind will try to pull you back into the comfort of complaints. Don't fall for it. Stay awake, stay intentional. Speak less, move more. Think less about what's missing, and more about what's possible. You don't have to fix your whole life in one day. You just have to stop hiding behind words and start proving yourself through your effort. Day after day, choice after choice. That's the path.
And once you learn to live in that place, where your effort speaks louder than your frustration, everything changes. Your confidence builds, your results grow, your energy rises, because you're no longer wasting it on useless words. You're investing it into action. And that investment always pays off. Not always in the way you expect, but always in the form of growth. So no more excuses. No more rehearsing your pain. No more trading effort for sympathy. You don't need more time. You don't need more advice. You just need to move, pick something. Start. Adjust as you go. Keep going. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it through action, through sweat, through quiet, consistent, honest work. That's how you build a life you can respect. That's how you become someone who doesn't just talk about change but lives it. Not someday, now.
Chapter 7. Speak with intention to reprogram your beliefs daily. The words you speak are more than sound. They're instructions your brain follows. Every sentence you say out loud or silently to yourself is shaping the identity you live by. Most people don't understand how much power is hidden in their everyday language. They speak out of habit, out of reaction, out of emotion, without realizing they're carving their beliefs deeper every time. When you speak without intention, your language works against you. When you speak with purpose, your words become tools to build the mind you want to live with. It's not about being positive just for the sake of being positive. It's about becoming deliberate with the language you use to shape your view of yourself and the world around you. Every time you say, "I can't," you teach your brain to stop trying. When you say, "This always happens to me," you teach yourself to expect failure. When you say, "I'm just not that type of person," you seal off opportunities to grow. Those aren't harmless phrases. They're training, and the more you repeat them, the more permanent they become. But here's the good news. The opposite is also true. When you start saying things like, "I'm learning to handle this," or "I've got what it takes to figure this out," or "This might be tough, but I won't quit," your brain listens. It doesn't judge you. It obeys. Your words become blueprints. The more consistent they are, the more automatic they become. This is how beliefs are formed, not by one big speech, but by daily repetition of the ideas you choose to reinforce. Speaking with intention means being aware of how your language shapes your identity. It means catching yourself in those little moments where you normally sell yourself short. It means replacing automatic, self-limiting talk with clear, deliberate statements that align with who you want to become, not who you feel like you are today. Who you want to be. Because you don't grow by describing your current limits. You grow by expressing the mindset you're building, even if it doesn't feel natural yet. You have to be bold with your language, even when you don't believe it yet. Especially then. Speaking with intention doesn't mean pretending. It means choosing to reinforce the mindset that leads you forward. If you want more confidence, start saying things that sound like confidence. If you want more discipline, speak in a way that reflects discipline. Say what you need to hear, not what you feel like saying. Feelings change, words echo. Choose them carefully. There's a quiet power in telling yourself, "I'm not there yet, but I'm improving." That one sentence rewires your whole relationship with failure. It removes shame and adds direction. It gives you a sense of momentum instead of defeat. That's what intentional language does. It doesn't ignore struggle. It reframes it. It doesn't erase doubt, but it reminds you who's in charge. Most of your beliefs weren't chosen consciously. You absorbed them from repetition. Parents, teachers, media, your own past experiences. And because they've been repeated so often, they feel like truth. But if you want to change your life, you have to challenge the so-called truths you've been telling yourself for years. I always mess things up. Nothing ever works out for me. People like me can't succeed. These aren't facts. They're just ideas you've practiced. You can unlearn them the same way they were built, by repeating new ones. This is why daily intentional speech is so important. It's not about saying something nice once. It's about creating a consistent stream of language that aligns with who you are becoming. Repetition is what makes the difference. Just like you can strengthen a muscle by using it daily, you can strengthen a belief by speaking it every day. Not just when you feel motivated, but especially when you don't. That's when your language matters most. That's when you're laying the foundation of a new internal belief system. It's not about standing in front of the mirror and pretending to be someone else. It's about planting real, honest, intentional seeds through language. I'm showing up for myself today. I'm choosing patience. I'm in control of my focus. I don't have to be perfect. I just have to stay consistent. Speak these truths even when they feel far away. Speak them until they become normal. Speak them until your mind starts to believe them on its own. Intentional speech doesn't mean you never express doubt or fear. It means you don't give those things the final word. You might say, "I'm nervous about this, but I'm going to try anyway." That's truth with direction. That's fear, but it's not surrender. You acknowledge the challenge, but you also make a decision. That's the power of deliberate language. It lets you feel deeply without being controlled by the emotion. It gives you a tool to move forward, even when your circumstances feel heavy. So many people reinforce weakness by constantly voicing it. They say things like, "I'm always tired, I'm so behind, I'll never catch up," and they don't realize they're deepening the very state they want to escape. If you want to be energized, stop calling yourself drained. If you want to get focused, stop saying you're distracted. Start saying what you want to live, not what you're afraid of. Your brain doesn't know the difference between fear and fact, unless you teach it through repetition. Make a habit of speaking intentionally from the moment you wake up. Instead of saying "I'm already stressed," try "I've got a full day ahead, and I'll handle it one step at a time." Instead of saying "I don't want to do this," try "This matters to me, and I'm strong enough to do hard things." Instead of "I'm terrible at this," say "I'm still learning, and that's progress." These aren't just phrases, they're instructions. Speak them daily, and they'll guide you even when you're unsure. The more you speak like the person you want to become, the more your mind starts adapting to match. At first it may feel like lying. That's normal. You're not lying, you're training. You're moving away from the outdated identity you've repeated for too long, and toward a version of yourself that reflects growth, courage, and intention. This version isn't built overnight. It's constructed one sentence at a time. Speak like someone who believes they can change. Speak like someone who respects their journey. Speak like someone who understands that growth begins in the mind long before it shows up in results. The results will come later. Right now, focus on mastering the dialogue, because your life follows your language. Always. If you tell yourself you're resilient every day, you'll start behaving like someone who bounces back. If you remind yourself you're in control, you'll start acting like someone who takes responsibility. If you declare that you're worthy of discipline and focus, you'll start making decisions that honor that belief. Not because the words are magic, but because they point your attention toward who you want to be. You can't control everything in life, but you can control how you speak about your experience. And that choice influences everything.
The way you describe your situation becomes the lens you view it through. So if you describe yourself as stuck, you'll feel stuck. If you describe yourself as evolving, you'll feel in motion. One keeps you paralyzed, the other keeps you growing. Words are energy. You feel different depending on the ones you choose. Speak in a way that raises your energy, not drains it. Speak to yourself like someone worth listening to. Speak with the kind of honesty that leads to progress. Don't use language to stay in the past. Use it to point your focus toward the future you're building. Even when things aren't going your way, especially then, use your words to ground yourself in effort, not excuses. Say things like, "I'm in a tough spot, but I'm not giving up. I didn't expect this, but I'll figure it out. I don't like this feeling, but I'm stronger than it." These aren't just sentences, they're anchors. They give you something to hold on to when everything else feels unstable. If you want to change your mindset, start by changing the way you speak. If you want to reprogram your beliefs, start by rewriting the story you're telling yourself every day. Don't wait until you feel confident. Speak as if you are, and let your brain catch up. Don't wait for motivation. Speak with discipline, and motivation will follow. Your future is being shaped by the words you speak today, so choose wisely. Be deliberate. Be intentional. You're either programming yourself for growth or reinforcing limitations. The difference lies in the language you use when no one's listening but you.
Chapter 8. Surround yourself with people who think positively. The people you surround yourself with have more power over your life than you may realize. Their energy, attitudes, and behaviors seep into your own thinking and influence your decisions, your actions, and ultimately your results. It's easy to overlook this when you're surrounded by people you've known for a long time, but the truth is that the right people can accelerate your growth and the wrong ones can slow you down. If you want to move forward, one of the most important decisions you can make is to surround yourself with individuals who think positively, who encourage your growth, and who challenge you to be better. Positivity doesn't mean blind optimism. It doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending that life is always easy. Positive thinkers are grounded in reality, but they maintain an unwavering belief in their ability to overcome obstacles. They don't dwell on problems for long. They focus on solutions. They don't waste time lamenting what they can't control. Instead, they focus on what they can change and use their energy to make things better. Being around people like this, day in and day out, gradually shifts your own mindset. Their optimism becomes contagious. Their problem-solving mindset rubs off on you. You start to see challenges as opportunities, and you begin to find creative solutions to obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. One of the key reasons that surrounding yourself with positive people is so powerful is that they remind you of your potential. They see possibilities where you might see limitations. When you share your dreams and goals with someone who has a positive outlook, they'll encourage you to keep going, even when you face setbacks. Instead of reinforcing your doubts or amplifying your fears, they'll reassure you that you are capable of achieving great things, even if it takes time. Their belief in you helps you develop more belief in yourself. They challenge you to think bigger, work harder, and stay focused on your end goal. Think about the people in your life right now. Are they encouraging you to aim higher, or are they pulling you back with negativity? It's a hard question to face, but it's important. The truth is that you can't afford to waste time with people who drain your energy or limit your possibilities. We all know someone who seems to focus on problems more than solutions. They find reasons why things won't work, and they have a way of making you doubt your ability to succeed. While it's important to empathize with others and offer support when needed, constantly being around negativity can seriously affect your mindset. Negativity is like a virus. It spreads quickly, and before you know it, you start to adopt a pessimistic view of your own life and future. On the other hand, people who think positively don't let setbacks or failures define them. They don't get stuck in negative thought cycles. They face adversity with a mindset that says, "This challenge is temporary. I can get through it." It's not that they never get discouraged or frustrated, they do. But they don't let those emotions dictate their actions or their thoughts. Instead, they channel that energy into finding a way forward. They focus on the solutions. They take responsibility for what they can control, and they refuse to stay stuck in a state of helplessness. Having people like this in your corner can make all the difference. Positive people inspire you to take action. They push you to do better, be better, and achieve more. They offer support when you need it, and challenge you when you're capable of more. But perhaps most importantly, they help you see things from a new perspective. When you surround yourself with positive influences, you begin to see the world in a different light. You stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as stepping stones. You stop worrying about things that are out of your control and start focusing on what you can change. If you're finding it hard to make progress or to stay motivated, ask yourself who you're spending the most time with. Are they lifting you up, or are they bringing you down? It's okay to acknowledge that some relationships may be holding you back. It's difficult, but sometimes you have to distance yourself from negative influences to protect your growth. That doesn't mean cutting people out of your life completely, but it might mean spending less time with them or limiting the kinds of conversations you engage in. You have to protect your mindset because it's the foundation of everything you do. You might think that surrounding yourself with positive people is just a matter of luck, or that it's something that happens by chance. But the reality is that you can actively seek out the right influences. You can choose to build relationships with people who share your values, your goals, and your commitment to personal growth. Whether it's through networking events, joining groups, or simply reaching out to like-minded individuals, there are always opportunities to surround yourself with those who are focused on progress. The more you engage with positive people, the more you'll notice your mindset shifting. You'll begin to think more like them. You'll start focusing on solutions, embracing challenges, and taking more intentional action. Another key benefit of surrounding yourself with positive thinkers is that they hold you accountable. When you're surrounded by people who are also working toward their own goals, it creates a sense of camaraderie. You don't want to let them down, and they don't want to let you down. This mutual accountability fuels your desire to stay committed and keep pushing forward, even when things get tough. Positive people don't enable excuses, they encourage effort, resilience, and growth. They help you stay focused on what matters and keep you on track, even when distractions or doubts threaten to pull you off course. Of course, it's not always easy to find and maintain relationships with positive people. Sometimes, negativity comes from places we least expect: family, close friends, or co-workers. These are the people who may have the biggest influence on us, which makes it all the more challenging to change the dynamic. But remember, you don't have to isolate yourself completely. You can start small. Look for opportunities to connect with individuals who have a mindset that aligns with your goals. Start attending events or joining communities that foster positive thinking and growth. Reach out to mentors or role models who inspire you. As you build these relationships, you'll begin to feel the shift in your own mindset, and your life will start to reflect the progress you've been making on the inside. It's important to understand that this doesn't mean you should cut out everyone who has a negative moment or experience. We all go through tough times, and it's natural to lean on friends and loved ones during those times. But the difference lies in how people respond to those tough moments. Positive thinkers acknowledge difficulties, but don't let them define their lives. Negative thinkers, on the other hand, can become stuck in their struggles, and that energy can weigh you down if you're not careful. When you surround yourself with people who think positively, you also start to adopt their habits. Positive thinkers tend to have habits that support their mental and emotional well-being. They prioritize their health, they make time for personal development, and they actively choose to see the good in the world. Their habits become contagious, and you'll find yourself adopting many of their practices, which will naturally improve your mindset. Whether it's through regular exercise, journaling, meditation, or simply practicing gratitude, positive people tend to take care of themselves in ways that support their growth. Incorporating these habits into your own life will help you strengthen your positive mindset and align your actions with your goals. It's all about creating an environment that supports who you want to be and where you want to go. The right people can help you do that, but ultimately, the power lies in your hands. You are the one who chooses who you spend your time with and what energy you allow into your life. Choose wisely. Choose people who inspire you, who challenge you, and who remind you of your potential. Surrounding yourself with positive people isn't just a nice to have, it's essential for your growth. If you want to achieve more, overcome obstacles, and stay focused on your goals, the company you keep matters. Positive thinkers elevate you. They push you to be better. They make the hard work feel a little easier, and the challenges feel a little more manageable. They remind you that you can do hard things, that setbacks don't define your path, and that your future is in your hands. As you continue to grow and develop, remember that the people around you have the power to either lift you up or hold you back. Choose to surround yourself with those who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to become the best version of yourself. Your mindset will shift, your results will improve, and your life will reflect the energy and positivity you've cultivated.
Chapter 9. Choose to believe in your potential every morning. Every morning you are presented with a new opportunity. A blank canvas, untouched by yesterday's mistakes or tomorrow's uncertainties. The moment you wake up, you are faced with a choice, the choice to believe in your potential, or to let the weight of doubt and fear drag you down. How you start your day often determines how you will experience the rest of it. The mindset you adopt when you first open your eyes will shape the actions you take and the results you achieve. This is why it's so important to consciously choose to believe in your potential every morning, without exception. Your potential isn't something distant or far off. It's something that exists within you right now, ready to be unlocked. The belief in your potential is not something that can be proven overnight. It's not a light switch that you can flip on and off. It is a muscle that you need to train consistently. Each morning is a chance to strengthen this belief, to affirm that you are capable, that you are worthy of success, and that you have what it takes to create the life you desire. When you wake up, you decide if you will let fear, self-doubt, or past failures dictate your actions, or if you will choose to stand tall and step into your power. Your potential is not determined by your current circumstances. It is not defined by your mistakes, your setbacks, or the limitations others might try to impose on you. Your potential is limitless. It is shaped by your mindset, your willingness to push forward, and your commitment to growth.
Every person has the ability to achieve incredible things, but it all starts with the belief that you can. Without belief, all the talent and ability in the world will go to waste. Without belief, you won't have the courage to take the first step toward your goals. Without belief, you'll settle for less than what you are truly capable of achieving. That's why choosing to believe in your potential every morning is so powerful. It sets the tone for the day and for your life. It's a decision to commit to yourself and your goals. It's a commitment to believe that you can handle whatever challenges come your way, and that you have the strength to overcome them. It's about waking up with a sense of purpose and knowing that you are moving forward, regardless of how difficult things may seem. You don't have to feel motivated every single day to believe in your potential. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes, but belief is constant. Belief is something you can carry with you every day, even when the motivation isn't there. Belief doesn't require you to feel like you have it all together or that everything is perfect. It simply requires you to trust that you are on the right path, that you have the skills and resources to succeed, and that you can continue to grow no matter what obstacles you encounter. The belief in your potential is an act of self-trust. It's about telling yourself that no matter the challenges ahead, you will find a way to navigate them. This mindset shifts your perspective from one of limitation to one of possibility. When you believe in your potential, you stop seeing obstacles as roadblocks and start seeing them as opportunities for growth. You understand that failure is not something to fear, but something to learn from. You embrace the process of becoming better, of improving, and of moving closer to the person you are meant to be. Each morning, take a moment to affirm to yourself that you believe in your potential. Tell yourself that today is another step toward your greatness, that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. Remind yourself that you are enough, that you don't need to be perfect, but that you are always capable of moving forward. This belief isn't about being arrogant or overconfident. It's about being grounded in the truth that you have what it takes to succeed. You have everything within you right now to create the life you want. It's important to note that believing in your potential doesn't mean that you won't face challenges. It doesn't mean that things will always go smoothly. In fact, there will be days when it feels harder than others. But choosing to believe in your potential means that you will keep going even on those days. It means that you will not give up when things don't go according to plan, and it means that you will find a way to keep moving forward. This belief is a shield against the doubts that will inevitably arise along the way. When you believe in your potential, you don't let setbacks define you. You see them as part of the journey, not as a sign that you're not good enough. Believing in your potential also means taking responsibility for your own success. You understand that you have the power to create change in your life. You know that your actions, your mindset, and your choices are the keys to unlocking your potential. You can't wait for the right time or for someone else to give you permission to succeed. You have to step into your power and own your journey. The belief in your potential is rooted in the understanding that you are the creator of your life. You have the ability to choose how you respond to challenges, how you approach your goals, and how you move through life. It's easy to look at other people's success and think that it's something they were born with, that they have some secret advantage or gift. But the truth is, successful people are not necessarily more talented or more capable than you. They simply believe in their potential, and that belief drives them to take consistent action. They show up every day, even when things are difficult, and they keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps may seem. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often not talent but belief. Every morning, you have the chance to affirm that you are capable of achieving your dreams. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday or last week. It doesn't matter if you faced setbacks or failures. Every day is a new beginning, and every morning is an opportunity to choose belief over doubt. If you wake up with the belief that you can succeed, you will approach the day with confidence and determination. Your actions will align with your belief, and you will make progress toward your goals. The power of choosing to believe in your potential every morning is that it creates momentum. When you start each day with belief, you start the day on a positive note. That positivity carries over into the rest of the day, and as you take action, you gain confidence in yourself and your abilities. You begin to see that you are capable of more than you thought. You begin to see evidence of your potential in the actions you take, the results you achieve, and the person you are becoming. This is not about overnight success. It's about the consistent belief that you are worthy of success, and that with effort and perseverance, you will achieve it. It's about showing up every day, even when it's hard, and trusting that your efforts will pay off in the long run. It's about having the courage to keep moving forward, even when the path is unclear, because you believe that you have the strength to handle whatever comes your way. When you choose to believe in your potential every morning, you also choose to silence the inner critic that tells you that you're not good enough, that you can't do it, or that it's too late for you. You recognize that these thoughts are just noise, and you don't have to listen to them. You acknowledge them, but you don't let them control your actions. Instead, you choose to focus on your potential, your ability to grow, and the endless possibilities that await you. As you move forward, remember that your potential is always there, waiting for you to tap into it. It's not something that is given to you by others, or something that you have to earn. It's already inside of you. You just have to choose to believe in it every single day. This belief will guide you, propel you forward, and help you overcome whatever challenges life throws your way. Believe in yourself every morning. Know that you are capable of achieving great things. When you choose to believe in your potential, you choose to live a life of growth, progress, and success.
Chapter 10. Act as if success is already happening now. Success is a mindset, not a destination. We often think that success is something that happens at a certain point in the future, a goal we will reach, a prize we will win, or a milestone we will finally cross. But what if success isn't something that waits for us on the other side of a journey? What if it's something we can access right now, in this very moment? The truth is, success is not a place we get to someday. It is a mindset we embody, a way of thinking and acting that shapes every part of our lives. One of the most powerful ways to shift your mindset and align yourself with success is to act as if success is already happening. This doesn't mean pretending or faking it. It's about living as though the future you desire is already here. It's about recognizing that your actions, choices, and mindset today are the building blocks of your future success. Acting as if success is already happening isn't about waiting for the right circumstances or for things to fall into place. It's about creating the momentum and energy in the present that will lead you to your desired future. The concept of acting as if success is already happening is rooted in the idea of embodying the person you want to become. When you act as if success is already happening, you stop seeing it as a distant goal and start seeing it as a present reality. This shift in mindset changes how you approach everything in your life. Instead of waiting for the perfect moment to act, you start taking inspired action in the now. You begin making decisions that align with the person you are becoming, not just the person you are right now. Your actions reflect your confidence in the success you are creating, and that confidence will be the catalyst for even greater achievements.
When you act as if success is already happening, you start to think like a successful person. You make choices based on where you want to go, not on where you've been. You begin to see opportunities instead of obstacles. You approach challenges with a sense of determination, knowing that you have the skills and mindset to overcome them. You don't wait for everything to be perfect before you take action, because you understand that success is built through consistent effort, not by waiting for the stars to align. Your mindset is the foundation of your success. When you act as if success is already happening, you start to see the world through the lens of possibility. You stop waiting for things to change and start making the changes you need to create the life you desire. This is the power of acting as if it allows you to break free from the limiting beliefs that hold you back and step into a new version of yourself. Instead of doubting your potential or waiting for external validation, you take charge of your life and begin living as if you are already successful. This shift in behavior is not just about changing your actions, it's about changing the way you think and feel about your life. The power of acting as if success is already happening lies in its ability to shift your energy. When you act with the belief that you are already successful, you begin to attract opportunities, people, and experiences that align with that belief. This is the law of attraction in action, like attracts like. When you vibrate at the frequency of success, you draw success to you. By acting as if success is already happening, you send out a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive everything that aligns with your vision of success. You create an energy that resonates with the people, resources, and circumstances you need to move forward. This is not to say that acting as if success is already happening means that everything will fall into place effortlessly. It's important to remember that success requires consistent effort, dedication, and the willingness to face challenges along the way. But when you act as if success is already happening, you approach those challenges with a mindset of confidence and resilience. Instead of getting discouraged or giving up, you see setbacks as opportunities to learn and grow. You understand that every obstacle is part of the process, and that success is not a straight line, it's a series of twists and turns, each one bringing you closer to your ultimate goals. The key to acting as if success is already happening is to embody the qualities and behaviors of successful people. Successful people are decisive, proactive, and relentless in their pursuit of their goals. They take responsibility for their actions, and they don't wait for things to happen, they make things happen. When you act as if success is already happening, you start to adopt these same qualities. You take action, even when it's uncomfortable. You stay focused on your goals, even when distractions arise. You don't allow fear or self-doubt to hold you back because you know that success is the result of consistent, focused effort. One of the most powerful ways to act as if success is already happening is to visualize your success every day. Take a few minutes each morning to close your eyes and picture yourself living your dream life. Imagine the details, the sights, the sounds, the feelings associated with your success. Feel the emotions of accomplishment, pride, and satisfaction as if they are happening right now. When you visualize your success, you align your mind and body with the energy of success. This exercise helps to rewire your brain, reinforcing the belief that success is not a far-off dream, but a present reality. Another important aspect of acting as if success is already happening is cultivating a sense of gratitude. When you focus on what you already have and the progress you've already made, you create a mindset of abundance rather than scarcity. Gratitude helps you stay connected to the present moment and appreciate the journey rather than constantly looking ahead to the destination. By practicing gratitude daily, you reinforce the belief that you are already successful and you attract even more to be grateful for. It's also important to surround yourself with people who support your vision of success. Acting as if success is already happening means surrounding yourself with individuals who believe in your potential and encourage you to keep going. Success is not a solitary journey, it's one that is often made easier and more fulfilling by the people you choose to spend time with. Positive, like-minded individuals will lift you up, inspire you and help you stay on track. They will remind you that success is a journey and that you are on the right path. When you act as if success is already happening, you attract these kinds of people into your life, and their energy helps fuel your own success. It's essential to take action every day, no matter how small. Success is built through the compound effect of consistent intentional actions. When you act as if success is already happening, you don't wait for the perfect time or for everything to be in place before you take the next step. You take the step now. Every action you take, no matter how small, sends a message to the universe that you are committed to your vision of success. These actions build momentum, and over time they compound into significant progress. In the end, acting as if success is already happening is not about pretending or wishing for things to be different. It's about stepping into the reality that success is a choice you make every day. It's about adopting a mindset of abundance, taking inspired action, and aligning yourself with the energy of success. When you act as if success is already happening, you are not waiting for it to happen in the future, you are making it happen right now. Every action you take, every decision you make, every thought you think is part of the success you are creating. Success is not something that will happen to you, it is something you create through your thoughts, actions and beliefs. Choose to act as if success is already happening and watch as the world around you begins to reflect that reality.
Chapter 11. Discipline your thoughts when negativity tries to enter. Negativity is a constant presence in our lives. It's a force that sneaks into our thoughts, influences our decisions, and impacts how we see the world around us. Whether it's self-doubt, fear of failure, or thoughts about the obstacles we face, negativity can creep in at any moment. It often feels like an unavoidable part of the human experience. But here's the truth. While we can't completely eliminate negativity, we can choose how to deal with it. One of the most powerful ways to change our lives is by disciplining our thoughts when negativity tries to enter. Our minds are powerful, but they're also vulnerable to external influences and internal struggles. The thoughts we have shape the actions we take, and those actions ultimately determine the course of our lives. If we allow negativity to take control, it can derail our progress, diminish our confidence, and hold us back from achieving our potential. But if we take control of our thoughts and discipline them, we can transform our lives. The power to choose our thoughts is one of the greatest tools we have, and it starts with understanding that negativity doesn't define us. The first step in disciplining your thoughts is recognizing when negativity begins to take hold. This is often the hardest part, because negativity can be subtle. It may start with a small, seemingly insignificant thought, like "I'm not good enough," or "this is too hard." Over time, these thoughts build on each other and begin to influence our beliefs, actions, and self-image. Recognizing negativity as soon as it enters your mind is crucial, because once you become aware of it, you can take action to redirect your thoughts before they spiral out of control. One of the most effective techniques for managing negativity is to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness allows you to observe your thoughts without judgment, giving you the space to notice when negativity arises. It's important to understand that just because a negative thought enters your mind doesn't mean you have to act on it. Thoughts are not commands, they are simply mental events that come and go. By practicing mindfulness, you can create a gap between the negative thought and your reaction to it.
This gap gives you the opportunity to choose a different response. You can acknowledge the negative thought without allowing it to dictate your next step. Once you recognize the negative thought, the next step is to challenge it. Negative thoughts often distort reality. They amplify the worst-case scenario and ignore the possibilities for success. For example, when faced with a challenge, the mind may tell you you're going to fail. This thought, however, is based on fear, not fact. Challenging negative thoughts involves questioning their validity and replacing them with more rational, empowering alternatives. Instead of thinking, "I'm going to fail," ask yourself, "What steps can I take to increase my chances of success?" This shift in perspective allows you to focus on solutions instead of problems, and it gives you a sense of control over the situation. Another important strategy is to reframe your thoughts. Reframing is a powerful cognitive tool that allows you to change the way you perceive a situation. Instead of seeing challenges as threats, you can reframe them as opportunities for growth. Instead of viewing setbacks as failures, you can see them as learning experiences that bring you closer to success. By reframing your thoughts, you not only reduce negativity, but you also build resilience. You start to see obstacles as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Disciplining your thoughts also involves practicing positive self-talk. The way you speak to yourself has a profound impact on your mindset. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, not capable, or not worthy of success, you will start to believe it. On the other hand, when you speak to yourself with kindness, encouragement, and belief in your abilities, you create a mindset that fosters growth and confidence. Positive self-talk doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending that everything is perfect. It means acknowledging your struggles while affirming your strengths. It's about being your own biggest supporter, especially when negativity tries to take over. One of the most effective ways to train your mind to focus on positive thoughts is by practicing gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to negativity. When we focus on what we're grateful for, it shifts our attention away from what's wrong in our lives and redirects it toward what's right. Gratitude helps us see the bigger picture and reminds us that no matter how difficult a situation may seem, there are always things to be thankful for. By cultivating a daily gratitude practice, you can rewire your brain to focus on abundance rather than lack. This shift in focus reduces the power of negative thoughts and allows you to appreciate the progress you've made, no matter how small. It's also important to recognize that negativity often arises from fear, fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. Fear is a natural part of life, but it doesn't have to control us. One of the keys to disciplining your thoughts is to confront fear head-on. When you feel fear rising, don't try to avoid it or push it away. Instead, acknowledge it and ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me? Fear can be a valuable teacher. It can show you where your insecurities lie, what you truly care about, and where you need to grow. By viewing fear as a signal for growth, you can turn it into a source of motivation rather than an obstacle. Another powerful technique for disciplining your thoughts is visualization. Visualization is a technique that involves imagining yourself achieving your goals, overcoming challenges, and living the life you desire. When you visualize your success, you create a mental image of the future you want to manifest. This image becomes a source of inspiration, motivation, and belief in yourself. Visualization helps you stay focused on your goals and reinforces the idea that success is possible. It also helps you overcome negativity by providing a clear mental picture of what you're working toward. It's also essential to surround yourself with positivity. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the environments you put yourself in all influence your thoughts. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, it's much harder to maintain a positive mindset. Seek out people who uplift and inspire you, who challenge you to be your best, and who support your growth. Avoid environments and media that drain your energy or reinforce negative beliefs. Surrounding yourself with positivity creates a supportive ecosystem that makes it easier to discipline your thoughts and stay focused on your goals. Disciplining your thoughts is not about suppressing negativity or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about gaining mastery over your mind and learning to choose which thoughts you give power to. Negative thoughts will always come and go, but you don't have to let them control your life. By practicing mindfulness, challenging negative thoughts, reframing your perspective, speaking kindly to yourself, practicing gratitude, confronting fear, and visualizing success, you create a mental environment that fosters growth and positivity. This mindset becomes the foundation for your success, and it empowers you to take consistent, focused action toward your goals, no matter what challenges come your way. Ultimately, disciplining your thoughts is an ongoing process. It's a skill that requires practice, patience, and self-compassion. But the more you practice, the easier it becomes. The more you practice, the more you begin to see that you have the power to control your thoughts, and by doing so you can shape your reality. Chapter 12. Visualize better outcomes to stay mentally focused. Visualization is one of the most powerful tools available for maintaining mental focus and staying on track with your goals. It's a practice that has been used by athletes, successful entrepreneurs, and high achievers from all walks of life to create a clearer vision of success and to stay grounded in their objectives. When life becomes challenging or distractions arise, visualization can serve as a guiding light, helping you stay mentally focused and driven toward your desired outcome. The idea of visualization is simple. It involves mentally imagining the successful completion of your goals, picturing in detail the steps you will take, the obstacles you will overcome, and the feelings you will experience when you succeed. This may sound too easy or abstract to some, but the impact of this practice can be profound. It doesn't just help you focus, it can also rewire your brain to believe in your potential and increase your chances of success. When you create mental images of success, your mind works to turn those images into reality by directing your attention, energy, and actions toward those goals. To begin with, visualization has the ability to sharpen your focus. When you can vividly picture what success looks like, your mind is less likely to wander or get caught up in distractions. The clearer your vision, the more your brain naturally aligns with it, keeping your focus intact even in challenging situations. Without a clear mental picture of what you're aiming for, it becomes much harder to maintain direction or motivation. Many people struggle with maintaining focus because they don't have a concrete idea of what success means to them or how it will manifest. Visualization solves this by offering a specific, detailed picture of your desired outcomes. The process of visualization starts with getting quiet and shutting out the noise. In the busyness of our everyday lives, it's easy to become distracted by external factors, people, work, social media, news, and lose sight of the goals we are working toward. To practice visualization effectively, you need to create a space where you can connect with your inner thoughts and imagine the success you desire without interruption. Take a moment each day to close your eyes and allow yourself to imagine the outcome you want. Visualize every detail, what it looks like, what it feels like, and even the emotions you will experience when you achieve it. The more detailed you make this visualization, the more effective it will be. Imagine the smells, sounds, and textures associated with your success. If you're visualizing completing a major project at work, for example, picture the feeling of satisfaction when you submit it, and the praise or recognition that follows. See the reactions of those around you, feel the sense of accomplishment in your chest, and imagine the words of appreciation from your colleagues or superiors. Your brain will process these visualizations as real experiences, helping you focus your thoughts on success and keep them there. While imagining the positive end result is important, visualization also includes mentally rehearsing the process itself, the steps you will take to get there. This practice of mental rehearsal is used by many athletes to prepare for performance. They imagine themselves in action, going through the motions of their sport or skill. The more you mentally rehearse, the more your mind is primed to take the necessary actions in real life. You're essentially training your brain to handle situations with confidence and clarity. When you visualize the process, you prepare yourself for the ups and downs that will come, and you mentally strengthen your resolve to overcome obstacles. An important aspect of visualization is the emotional energy it generates. Our feelings are powerful motivators. They push us to act, to keep going, and to remain persistent even when things get tough. By visualizing yourself achieving your goals and experiencing the emotions associated with that success, you create a sense of excitement and motivation that fuels your drive. This emotional connection to your desired outcome can serve as a constant reminder of why you're working so hard and why it's worth pushing through challenges. Another benefit of visualization is its ability to reduce anxiety and build confidence. It's common to feel nervous or doubtful when embarking on something important, especially when it's a big project or new endeavor. The fear of failure can be paralyzing, and it's easy to get stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. Visualization can help break this cycle by reinforcing positive mental images. By mentally rehearsing success, you convince yourself that success is not only possible but inevitable. This shift in mindset builds confidence and helps you approach challenges with a sense of calm and self-assurance. To make visualization even more powerful, combine it with positive affirmations. As you visualize success, affirm your belief in your ability to achieve it. Tell yourself that you are capable, resilient, and worthy of success. These affirmations will strengthen your belief system, making it easier to stay focused on your goals and fight off the negative thoughts that may arise. Over time, the combination of visualization and affirmations will reprogram your mind to believe in your potential and dismiss any limiting beliefs or doubts. As you visualize better outcomes, it's important to see the process through to completion. Imagine yourself overcoming obstacles and setbacks with grace and determination. No path to success is without challenges, and the ability to remain focused on your end goal despite difficulties is a key element of success. When you visualize yourself navigating these challenges, you prepare yourself mentally for the realities of growth and achievement. This mental rehearsal allows you to build resilience, so when obstacles do arise, you're able to handle them with poise and confidence. It's also vital to remember that visualization is not a passive activity. While it's true that visualizing better outcomes can create mental clarity and direction, it's also essential to take consistent, focused action toward your goals. Visualization provides the mental framework, but your actions bring it to life. Think of it as setting the stage for success. When you have a vivid picture of your desired outcome, you are more likely to recognize opportunities and take the right actions to get there. The clearer the picture you create in your mind, the more you are driven to take the necessary steps to turn that vision into reality. Visualization doesn't need to take long.
Even a few minutes each day of quiet, focused visualization can have a profound impact on your mental clarity and focus. The key is to be consistent. Like any skill, visualization improves the more you practice it. Set aside time every day to visualize your success, and over time, you'll notice how much sharper your focus becomes. You'll feel more motivated and energized, and your ability to stay on track will improve. In conclusion, visualization is a powerful technique that can help you stay mentally focused and driven toward your goals. By imagining both the process and the outcome of your success in vivid detail, you create a mental map for your journey. Visualization helps you reduce anxiety, build confidence, and maintain focus in the face of challenges. It serves as a constant reminder of what you're working toward, keeping you grounded in your purpose. Combine visualization with affirmations, mindfulness, and positive self-talk, and you'll be unstoppable. When you can clearly see your success, your mind will work tirelessly to make it a reality.
Chapter 13. Reframe every setback as a chance to grow. Every setback you encounter holds within it an invaluable opportunity for growth, even though it might not always feel that way in the moment. Life doesn't always go according to plan, and we all experience moments when things don't unfold as we expect. Whether it's a failure, an obstacle, or an unexpected change in direction, these setbacks often feel like barriers that hinder progress. However, the key to transforming your mindset and using these experiences to your advantage lies in the way you perceive them. When you reframe setbacks as chances to grow, you open yourself up to possibilities that might not have been clear to you before. The natural instinct when faced with a setback is often to feel disappointed, frustrated, or defeated. It's easy to fall into the trap of negative thinking, focusing solely on what went wrong. However, those who learn to reframe setbacks don't allow those feelings to take over. Instead, they view every challenge as a lesson in disguise, an opportunity to refine their approach, and a chance to discover what they might have missed the first time. Reframing is the process of consciously shifting your perspective from one of failure to one of growth. It's a mindset shift that empowers you to look at obstacles as stepping stones toward greater achievement. In life, you will encounter failures. These failures may feel like blows to your ego or your confidence, but they are often the foundation upon which success is built. The most successful individuals in history have all experienced failures and setbacks, yet what set them apart was their ability to view these moments not as dead ends but as lessons. Every setback is an opportunity to develop resilience, to strengthen your character, and to refine your skills. Rather than allowing failures to paralyze you, use them as tools to build a more solid foundation for future endeavors. One of the first steps in reframing setbacks is to detach your identity from the outcome. Too often, we tie our sense of self-worth to our achievements or the lack thereof. When things don't go as planned, it can feel like a personal failure. However, this is a limited way of viewing yourself. Your worth is not defined by one moment in time or by a single setback. You are always growing and evolving, and your failures do not determine your future. The setback you face today may be a setback in a particular situation, but it doesn't define who you are as a person. Once you detach yourself from the setback and view it as just one moment in your journey, it becomes easier to evaluate the situation from a place of objectivity. Look at the setback not as a failure, but as a stepping stone that's providing you with valuable feedback. If you've made a mistake, it's important to analyze what went wrong and why. What can you learn from the experience? What would you do differently next time? These questions will help you identify areas where you can improve, adapt, and grow. Sometimes, The answers to these questions lead to greater self-awareness, which can be the catalyst for future success. Another way to reframe setbacks is by shifting your focus from what was lost to what can be gained. It's easy to get caught up in what didn't happen or what you didn't achieve, but this mindset only keeps you stuck in negativity. Instead, ask yourself, what am I learning from this? Or how can this challenge help me become better? By consciously seeking out the lessons embedded in each setback, you allow yourself to gain wisdom from each experience. Every setback teaches you something. It might teach you patience, perseverance, or how to handle failure with grace. It might teach you how to be more creative, or how to approach a problem from a different angle. The important thing is that by reframing setbacks as learning experiences, you begin to see each challenge as a chance to refine your skills and deepen your understanding. When you embrace setbacks as opportunities to grow, you shift your mindset from one of fear and resistance to one of curiosity and exploration. Reframing setbacks also requires an ability to maintain a sense of gratitude. It's easy to feel frustrated when things don't go your way, but taking a moment to express gratitude for the experience can help you see the bigger picture. Gratitude for the lessons learned, the strength gained, and the opportunity to grow transforms your perspective. When you can see a setback as an opportunity to become a stronger, more capable version of yourself, you will begin to approach challenges with excitement instead of dread. Another important aspect of reframing setbacks is learning to embrace uncertainty. Many setbacks occur when things don't go according to plan, and it's easy to feel disoriented or anxious when the future feels uncertain. However, uncertainty is not something to fear. It's an essential part of the journey. Every new venture, every risk, every challenge carries with it a level of uncertainty, and that uncertainty is where growth lies. By reframing setbacks as opportunities to navigate uncertainty, you begin to develop the ability to remain calm and composed in the face of adversity. Rather than letting uncertainty paralyze you, you can use it as fuel to keep moving forward. In reframing setbacks, it's crucial to recognize the importance of persistence. Success doesn't come easily, and setbacks are often the tests that reveal your true character. It's in the moments when things don't go according to plan that you have the opportunity to demonstrate your resilience. Every time you face a setback and choose to continue despite the challenges, you are strengthening your ability to persevere. The ability to keep moving forward, even when it feels like you've hit a wall, is one of the most important skills you can develop. Persistence allows you to turn setbacks into setups for success. One of the most powerful ways to reframe setbacks is by seeing them as opportunities to refine your process. Setbacks often occur when our methods aren't working as effectively as we hoped. Instead of focusing solely on the outcome, look at the process itself. Is there a more efficient or effective way to approach the task? Are there skills or tools you need to acquire? By examining the process, you open yourself up to improvement and growth. Sometimes a setback is just the universe's way of telling you that your current approach needs to evolve in order to achieve better results. The mindset shift required to reframe setbacks takes practice, but it's one of the most empowering changes you can make. It's easy to see setbacks as failures, but when you begin to see them as opportunities for growth, you unlock a new level of mental strength and resilience. By learning to view setbacks as lessons, you not only protect yourself from the negativity that can arise from failure, but you also position yourself to come out stronger on the other side. Finally, reframe setbacks as moments of growth, not as roadblocks. Every obstacle you encounter is a chance to improve, evolve, and sharpen your skills. The more you practice reframing setbacks, the easier it becomes to maintain a positive mindset in the face of adversity.
Every time you encounter a challenge, remind yourself that it's not the end of the road, but the beginning of a new opportunity to grow. With each setback, you gain valuable experience, build resilience, and develop a deeper understanding of your own strength. Ultimately, it is through these challenges that you'll achieve your greatest successes.
Chapter 14. Feed your mind daily with strong, uplifting words. Every day, you have a choice. You have the ability to decide what enters your mind and what stays there. What you allow to fill your mind will inevitably shape your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately the trajectory of your life. So, when you feed your mind with strong, uplifting words, you are not only nourishing your soul, but also setting the foundation for success, happiness, and fulfillment. The words you expose yourself to every single day hold incredible power. They shape your beliefs, influence your decisions, and define your outlook on life. Many people go through life without realizing how much their internal dialogue, the words they choose to focus on, can influence their reality. If you constantly feed your mind with negativity, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs, those words will take root, and your mind will naturally begin to align with them. Negative thinking has a way of infiltrating your thoughts and limiting your potential. But when you choose to feed your mind with positive, empowering, and uplifting words, you create an environment where growth and success are possible. The impact of the words you choose to consume is profound. Every conversation you engage in, every book you read, every message you listen to, and every affirmation you repeat has the potential to uplift or undermine you. If you want to create a life that reflects your highest potential, it's crucial that you make a conscious effort to feed your mind daily with words that encourage, empower, and inspire you to be the best version of yourself. Just as food nourishes your body and provides you with the energy to move through life, the words you choose to feed your mind nourish your spirit and mind, providing you with the energy and motivation to pursue your goals. Your thoughts are like seeds, and the words you feed them are the nutrients that help them grow. The more nourishing, positive, and uplifting words you give your mind, the stronger, more resilient, and more confident you become. You can choose to fill your mind with the thoughts and words that serve you, or those that limit you. The choice is always yours. It's important to recognize that this is not about denying the difficulties and challenges of life. Life is not always easy, and there will be times when you will face hardships, struggles, and setbacks. However, feeding your mind with uplifting words doesn't mean ignoring reality. It's about choosing to focus on the solutions, on the opportunities, on the lessons to be learned, rather than dwelling in negativity or despair. Uplifting words give you the mental tools to face adversity with strength, resilience, and hope. One of the most powerful ways to feed your mind with uplifting words is through positive affirmations. These are short, powerful statements that you repeat to yourself regularly, designed to reprogram your subconscious mind and align your thoughts with your desired reality. Affirmations work by breaking the patterns of negative thinking that may have been ingrained in your mind over the years and replacing them with positive, empowering beliefs. By repeating affirmations daily, you send a clear message to your mind about who you are, what you are capable of, and what you deserve. For example, instead of thinking, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed," you can replace those thoughts with affirmations like, "I am capable of achieving anything I set my mind to," or "I am worthy of success and happiness." Over time, these affirmations will become ingrained in your thinking, shaping the way you perceive yourself and your circumstances. They will shift your mindset from one of self-doubt to one of confidence and possibility. The more you repeat these positive statements, the more natural they will feel, and the more they will become a part of your reality. But affirmations are just one tool in your arsenal for feeding your mind with uplifting words. Another powerful tool is the people you surround yourself with. The conversations you have with others and the energy they bring into your life can have a profound impact on your mindset. If you consistently surround yourself with people who lift you up, who speak words of encouragement and positivity, you will naturally begin to mirror their energy. Positive conversations can help you see opportunities where you once saw obstacles, and they can help you believe in your potential when doubt starts to creep in. On the other hand, if you find yourself surrounded by people who are negative, critical, or dismissive of your dreams, it will be much harder to maintain a positive and uplifting mindset. Negative words from others can drain your energy, plant seeds of self-doubt, and prevent you from reaching your full potential. It's essential to be selective about the company you keep. Surround yourself with individuals who encourage you to think bigger, dream bolder, and take inspired action toward your goals. In addition to the people you surround yourself with, the content you consume also plays a significant role in shaping your mindset. What you watch, read, and listen to has the potential to either lift you up or bring you down. Choose to feed your mind with books, podcasts, videos, and other resources that inspire you, challenge you to grow, and teach you valuable lessons. Consuming uplifting content helps you stay focused on your goals and reminds you of what's possible. It gives you new perspectives and insights that can help you overcome challenges and move forward with clarity and purpose. Consider the difference between watching a motivational speaker share empowering messages versus watching a show or reading a book that is full of negativity or fear. The former fills your mind with hope, courage, and possibility, while the latter only reinforces doubt and anxiety. You have the power to choose what you consume, and every choice you make either empowers or disempowers you. By consciously choosing uplifting content, you ensure that your mind is constantly being nourished with words that will help you grow and succeed. The language you use with yourself is also crucial. The way you speak to yourself directly impacts your self-esteem, confidence, and belief in your abilities. When you constantly speak to yourself in a negative or critical way, you reinforce the idea that you are incapable or unworthy. However, when you speak to yourself with kindness, encouragement, and respect, you begin to reprogram your mind to believe in your potential. The words you use shape your perception of yourself and your circumstances, so make sure that the language you use is empowering. For example, instead of saying, "I can't do this," try saying, "I'm learning how to do this," or "I'm capable of figuring this out." Instead of thinking, "This is too hard," say, "This challenge is an opportunity for me to grow." Changing the way you speak to yourself may take time, but with consistent effort, you will notice a shift in your mindset. When you replace self-criticism with self-encouragement, you build a foundation of confidence and resilience that will help you navigate life's challenges with grace. Finally, remember that the words you feed your mind today will impact your future. If you consistently feed your mind with uplifting words, you will naturally begin to see a shift in your life. Your actions will reflect your thoughts, and your thoughts will reflect the words you choose to focus on. The more positive, empowering words you choose to consume, the more your life will align with the mindset you are cultivating. The journey to success and fulfillment begins with the words you choose to feed your mind. Every day is an opportunity to choose to nourish your thoughts with strength, positivity, and inspiration. By making this a daily habit, you can create a mindset that empowers you to reach your goals, overcome challenges, and become the person you were always meant to be.
Never underestimate the power of words. When you feed your mind with the right words, you are feeding your soul, strengthening your spirit, and laying the foundation for a life full of possibility.
Chapter 15. Master your emotions through calm and clear thinking. Mastering your emotions through calm and clear thinking is a skill that can transform the way you experience life. Emotions are powerful, but they are also temporary and can be managed with intentional effort. When emotions are allowed to take control, they often create chaos and confusion. However, when emotions are handled with clarity, they can become valuable sources of insight, providing direction and guiding you toward your best self. The key lies in how you respond to them, not just the emotions themselves. Emotions in their raw form are not inherently good or bad, they simply exist. They are the body's natural reaction to external stimuli, a way of alerting you to situations that require your attention. Anger, fear, frustration, and excitement all serve as signals. But how you choose to react to these emotions can either enhance your life or lead to unnecessary struggle. Mastery over your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them or pretending they don't exist. Instead, it's about acknowledging them, understanding their source, and choosing how to respond in a way that aligns with your values and goals. The first step in mastering your emotions is to develop awareness of them. Emotions often arise quickly, and before you know it, you may be swept up in a storm of feelings, unable to think clearly or act rationally. This is where self-awareness becomes crucial. When you notice that an emotion is rising within you, whether it's anger, fear, or anxiety, take a moment to pause. Rather than reacting impulsively, allow yourself a brief space to observe what you're feeling. Ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What is the source of this emotion? Is this reaction truly justified, or am I overreacting? This practice of pausing before reacting is one of the most effective ways to gain control over your emotions. When you respond immediately to an emotion without understanding its source or impact, you often end up acting in ways that don't serve you or your goals. By taking a moment to think before acting, you allow your clear thinking to override your emotional response. This doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. It simply means that you don't let your emotions dictate your actions. Instead, you choose to engage with your emotions in a calm, rational, and measured way. A significant part of mastering emotions lies in understanding their root cause. Emotions are often responses to situations, but sometimes they are also influenced by past experiences, unconscious beliefs, or fears. For instance, anger may arise when you feel threatened or disrespected, but it may also be linked to unresolved frustration from past events. Fear may emerge when facing the unknown, but it can also be a result of past failures or negative self-talk. Understanding the deeper source of your emotions can help you gain more control over them and respond in ways that promote growth and positivity. Once you have identified the source of your emotions, the next step is to reframe them. Reframing involves changing the way you perceive a situation or emotion. Instead of seeing frustration as a roadblock, see it as an opportunity to learn and improve. Rather than viewing fear as a signal to avoid challenges, view it as a natural reaction to stepping out of your comfort zone and growing. When you change the way you interpret your emotions, you can shift your response from reactive to proactive. This shift in mindset is one of the most powerful tools for mastering emotions and fostering personal growth. The ability to remain calm and clear-headed, even in emotionally charged situations, is a hallmark of emotional mastery. This doesn't mean that you should suppress your emotions or avoid feeling them. Rather, it means you develop the ability to remain centered and grounded in the midst of emotional turbulence. One of the most effective ways to cultivate calmness is through mindfulness and meditation. These practices allow you to step out of the emotional whirlwind and into a space of stillness and clarity. By regularly practicing mindfulness, you train your mind to remain focused on the present moment, free from the distractions of emotional reactivity. In emotionally intense situations, mindfulness can be an invaluable tool. Instead of allowing your mind to race with thoughts or your body to react impulsively, you focus on your breath, your body, and the present moment. This brings your attention away from the emotional storm and back to the facts. When you focus on the present, you break the cycle of emotional overreaction and regain your ability to think clearly. It's in these moments of clarity that you can make decisions that align with your values and lead to positive outcomes. Alongside mindfulness, developing mental discipline is key to emotional mastery. This involves training yourself to consistently choose thoughts and behaviors that align with your higher goals, regardless of how you feel in the moment. Mental discipline means choosing calm over chaos, clarity over confusion, and constructive responses over destructive reactions. It's easy to react emotionally when things don't go as planned, but it takes true discipline to pause, assess the situation, and choose the best course of action. An essential aspect of emotional mastery is learning to detach yourself from the emotions you experience. You are not your emotions, they are temporary responses to stimuli. When you identify too closely with your emotions, you give them power over you. Instead of identifying with the emotion, you can view it as a passing wave. Recognize it, feel it, but don't let it define you. By detaching from your emotions, you prevent them from controlling your behavior. This doesn't mean that you dismiss your emotions, but rather that you see them as transient experiences rather than permanent parts of your identity. Self-compassion plays an important role in emotional mastery as well. When emotions arise, it's easy to become critical of yourself for feeling a certain way. You may tell yourself that you shouldn't be angry, anxious, or sad, which only compounds the problem. Instead, practice being kind to yourself when difficult emotions arise. Understand that emotions are part of the human experience, and they don't make you weak or inadequate. Treat yourself with the same compassion that you would offer a close friend who is struggling. By doing so, you reduce the emotional charge of negative feelings and allow yourself to move through them with grace and resilience. Another powerful tool in mastering your emotions is visualization. By mentally rehearsing calm and clear responses to challenging situations, you prepare yourself to respond thoughtfully in the moment. Visualization can also help you imagine positive outcomes, which can reduce feelings of anxiety or fear. When you create mental images of yourself responding calmly and effectively in emotionally charged situations, you program your mind to behave in those ways when the time comes. Visualization helps you stay centered and focused, even when external circumstances are challenging. Ultimately, mastering your emotions through calm and clear thinking is about taking responsibility for your emotional state. It's about recognizing that you are not a passive recipient of emotions, but an active participant in choosing how to respond. Emotional mastery requires practice, patience, and a commitment to personal growth. But with consistent effort, you can train yourself to remain composed, focused, and clear-headed, no matter what life throws your way. The more you cultivate this skill, the more resilient you become. You will find that you are not as easily swayed by external circumstances, and that you have the inner strength to navigate even the most difficult situations with grace and wisdom. In mastering your emotions, you unlock the power to create the life you desire, one thoughtful and intentional decision at a time. Chapter 16. Build confidence by thinking strong in hard moments. Confidence isn't something you're born with, it's something you build, layer by layer, through the actions you take and the way you choose to think. especially in moments of hardship. In the most difficult and challenging times, that's when true confidence is forged. It's easy to feel confident when things are going well, when life is smooth, your goals are within reach, and everything seems aligned. But real confidence is built when the world around you is shaking, when you feel uncertain, or when failure stares you directly in the face. The most powerful form of confidence doesn't come from external validation or comfort, but from your ability to stand firm in your inner strength, no matter the storm. Building confidence during tough moments begins with how you manage your thoughts. Your thoughts are the foundation of your reality, especially when faced with challenges. When adversity strikes, your immediate reaction might be fear, doubt, or hesitation. These thoughts can cripple your confidence, leaving you unsure of yourself and unable to move forward. However, you have the power to shift those thoughts and replace them with ones that empower you instead of holding you back. The key is to train your mind to think strong, to anchor yourself in your strengths, and to rise above the limiting beliefs that surface in difficult times. A pivotal aspect of cultivating confidence in hard moments is embracing the discomfort of the situation. Many people shy away from challenges because they're afraid of failure, rejection, or simply the discomfort that comes with pushing yourself to the limit. But true confidence grows when you face adversity head-on. Instead of running away from hard moments, lean into them. Allow yourself to feel the discomfort, but don't let it paralyze you. When you confront challenges with a mindset that views them as opportunities for growth, you become more resilient and capable. Each challenge you overcome adds to your confidence, not because you avoided failure, but because you kept going in spite of it. Confidence is not the absence of fear or doubt, it's the ability to act despite them. The strongest people are not the ones who don't experience fear, but the ones who have learned how to move forward even when fear is present. In hard moments, the mind can easily spiral into negative thinking. I can't do this. This is too much for me, or I'm not good enough. These are all natural thoughts, but they do not define you. When you catch yourself thinking these thoughts, remember that they are just thoughts, not facts. Your ability to move through difficult times depends on your ability to replace self-doubt with self-belief. Instead of thinking, I can't, try thinking, I can handle this. I've faced challenges before and come out stronger. The act of intentionally shifting your thinking from negative to empowering allows you to develop a mindset that breeds confidence. A key aspect of building confidence in hard moments is focusing on the present, not the future. When you're going through a tough time, it's easy to get overwhelmed by what lies ahead, by all the potential obstacles, the possible failures, and the uncertainty that comes with making decisions in the face of adversity. The trick is to center yourself in the present moment. Instead of stressing over what might happen or what you might not be able to control, focus on what you can do right now. Break the situation into manageable steps and take one action at a time. When you focus on what's within your control, the enormity of the challenge becomes more manageable, and you're able to build confidence with each step you take. By staying in the present and making intentional, confident decisions in the moment, you lay the groundwork for the success you're striving for. Your internal dialogue is another powerful tool for building confidence. How you speak to yourself, especially in hard times, directly affects your ability to move forward. When you're facing setbacks, it's easy to be harsh on yourself. The inner critic may start telling you that you're failing, that you're not good enough, or that you're incapable of overcoming the challenges ahead. This negative self-talk can erode your confidence if you allow it to dominate your thoughts. But by consciously shifting that dialogue, you reinforce your inner strength. Instead of saying, "This is impossible," say, "I will find a way through this." Rather than thinking, "I'm not good enough," remind yourself, "I am capable and I have everything I need to succeed." Every time you change the narrative in your mind, you're strengthening your confidence and building your resilience. Another powerful way to build confidence during hard moments is through visualization. When you visualize yourself succeeding in a challenging situation, your mind becomes more accustomed to the idea of success. Visualizing success doesn't mean that everything will go perfectly, but it does mean that you're mentally preparing yourself to handle difficulties with grace and confidence. By creating a mental image of yourself overcoming the challenge and coming out stronger, you're programming your mind to expect success rather than failure. You're also reinforcing the belief that you have the inner strength to face whatever comes your way. Visualization allows you to mentally rehearse the best possible outcome, which can help reduce anxiety and boost your confidence in real time. Building confidence is also about trusting the process. Often in difficult moments, it's easy to feel like things aren't progressing as they should. You may feel stuck, unsure of the next step, or uncertain of your ability to make progress. However, it's important to trust that every step forward, no matter how small, is a step toward growth. Confidence doesn't come overnight. It's a gradual process that takes time. Recognize that setbacks, mistakes, and failures are part of the journey. They don't diminish your worth. They add to your strength and knowledge. Trusting the process means trusting in your ability to adapt and learn from every experience, and that trust in yourself will fuel your confidence. In moments of difficulty, it's also helpful to remember your past victories. When faced with challenges, reflect on times in your life when you've overcome adversity. Think about the obstacles you've faced, the fears you've conquered, and the ways you've grown. Remind yourself that you have succeeded before, and you have the capability to succeed again. Your past achievements serve as a reminder that you are stronger and more capable than you may realize in the moment. Each time you draw from your past successes, you reinforce your belief in your ability to rise above challenges, no matter how difficult they may seem. Finally, confidence is strengthened through consistent action. When you're in the midst of a difficult situation, it's easy to feel paralyzed by fear or uncertainty. The key to overcoming this paralysis is taking action, even if it's small. The more you act, the more you prove to yourself that you have the ability to make things happen. Each decision you make, each step you take, builds momentum and reinforces your confidence. Even when you make mistakes or face setbacks, the act of taking consistent action shows you that you can handle challenges and keep moving forward. It's through this continual process of doing, learning, and growing that confidence is solidified. Confidence doesn't come from waiting for the perfect moment or for everything to align perfectly. It comes from showing up in the hardest of times, making the decision to keep going, and believing that you are capable of handling whatever comes your way. It's not about avoiding challenges or seeking comfort, but about building resilience through every struggle. As you continue to build confidence by thinking strong in hard moments, you will find that nothing can stop you from reaching your full potential. The more you face adversity with strength, the more you build the unwavering belief in yourself that will carry you through life's toughest challenges. Your confidence will not just be a fleeting feeling, it will become a deep, unshakable part of who you are.
Chapter 17. Challenge every doubt with proof from your progress. Doubt is a natural part of the human experience, and it's something that we all face, whether we're pursuing big dreams, working through daily struggles, or trying to break through barriers that seem insurmountable. It can arise at any moment, when the road gets tough, when we encounter setbacks,
or even when we're simply unsure of the path we've chosen. But here's the truth. Doubt is a liar. It doesn't come from a place of wisdom or logic. It comes from a place of fear, insecurity, and uncertainty. It attempts to convince us that we're not capable, that we're falling behind, or that we'll never reach the destination we've set for ourselves. However, doubt doesn't have to hold power over you. It only has the strength you give it. And one of the most effective ways to push back against doubt is to challenge it with undeniable proof, the progress you've already made. The key to overcoming doubt is recognizing that it's simply a perception, not an absolute truth. The proof of your growth, strength, and capabilities is already in your hands. It's written in the progress you've made, the lessons you've learned, and the challenges you've already overcome. When doubt creeps in, you can remind yourself that your journey isn't defined by a single moment of uncertainty. It's defined by the consistent effort, resilience, and actions you've taken to get where you are today. Each time doubt emerges, it's an opportunity to take a step back and assess the progress you've already made. Think about where you were 6 months ago, a year ago, or even 5 years ago. Ask yourself, what have you accomplished that shows your growth? What challenges have you overcome? What new skills have you gained? The answers to these questions are the evidence that your progress is real. Doubt has no claim to those achievements. The truth is, you are not where you once were. You are constantly evolving, learning, and moving forward. Progress may not always be linear, and there will always be times when you stumble, but the important thing is that you're moving in the right direction. Doubt has no place in a mind that consistently proves itself through action. One of the most effective ways to fight doubt is by keeping track of your achievements. The more you document your wins, no matter how small they may seem, the more tangible your progress becomes. This isn't about creating a laundry list of perfect accomplishments. It's about recording moments where you acted in the face of fear, moments where you pushed through discomfort, and moments where you chose to keep going despite the odds. These little victories accumulate over time, and they become the proof you need to challenge any doubt that arises. When you're feeling uncertain or questioning your ability to continue, look back at the evidence of your progress. The more proof you have of your ability to succeed, the less room doubt has to grow. There's power in acknowledging how far you've come. The journey towards your goals may seem long, and there may be moments when you feel stuck or defeated. But every day that you show up and put in the work is a victory in itself. Progress doesn't always look like a huge breakthrough. Sometimes it's just a matter of showing up, even when it's hard. And when you look back on those moments of consistency and effort, you realize just how much strength you've cultivated along the way. Those moments add up, and each step forward is a testament to your resilience and commitment. Doubt often stems from the fear that we're not doing enough, that our progress isn't fast enough, or that we're not living up to some arbitrary standard. It's important to challenge these fears with the understanding that progress isn't a race, it's a personal journey. There will always be people who seem to be moving faster, achieving more, or appearing more successful. But those external comparisons only serve to distract you from your own path. Instead of looking outward, turn inward and focus on the steps you've taken. You are on your own timeline, and the progress you've made is enough. Celebrate where you are now, even if you haven't yet reached your ultimate destination. That celebration of your journey is a powerful weapon against doubt. Another way to combat doubt is to reframe how you view setbacks. It's easy to look at a failure or a mistake and allow it to fuel self-doubt. But setbacks don't erase your progress, they contribute to it. Failure is simply a lesson in disguise. Every misstep, every obstacle you face, is an opportunity to learn and grow. It's through the tough moments that you build the muscle of resilience. When you face setbacks, remind yourself that they're not signs of weakness, they're stepping stones on the path to success. They show you what doesn't work, allowing you to refine your approach and become better equipped for the challenges ahead. When doubt arises after a failure, challenge it by recognizing that failure is an essential part of growth. Without it, you wouldn't have the opportunity to improve and refine your approach. To further challenge doubt, it's important to practice self-compassion. Doubt often thrives on self-criticism, the belief that we should be further along, that we should be better, that we should have achieved more by now. But these thoughts are damaging and inaccurate. They rob you of the ability to see your progress clearly. Instead of criticizing yourself for where you are, give yourself credit for how far you've come. Be kind to yourself and recognize the strength it takes to keep moving forward. Self-compassion allows you to silence the voice of doubt and replace it with a more supportive and encouraging one. When you treat yourself with kindness, you're able to see the truth of your progress without the distortion of self-judgment. A crucial step in challenging doubt is to affirm your abilities daily. Positive affirmations are a powerful tool for reshaping your thoughts and reinforcing your belief in your own potential. When doubt creeps in, remind yourself of your strengths, your skills, and the evidence that you are capable of overcoming whatever challenges come your way. Affirmations are more than just words, they're declarations of your truth. By repeating them consistently, you rewire your brain to see yourself as someone who can achieve great things. You start to trust your abilities and trust the process of growth, and in doing so, you reduce the power that doubt has over you. Finally, remember that doubt is not a reflection of your worth. Just because doubt arises doesn't mean you're incapable or unworthy of success. Doubt is simply a part of the human experience, but it doesn't define who you are. You are not your doubts, and your worth is not determined by your moments of uncertainty. Your worth is inherent, and it's grounded in the consistent effort you put into becoming the best version of yourself. When doubt tries to creep in, remind yourself that your value is not dependent on perfection or instant success. You are worthy of success simply because you choose to keep going, even when the road gets tough. Challenging doubt with proof from your progress isn't about ignoring fear or pretending that everything is always going perfectly. It's about taking the evidence of your journey, the work you've put in, the obstacles you've overcome, the lessons you've learned, and using it as a shield against the false narrative that doubt tries to create. Your progress is real, and it speaks louder than any negative thought. The more you challenge doubt with this undeniable proof, the more it begins to lose its power over you. You'll realize that doubt is simply a passing thought, and it has no claim on your potential. With each step forward, with each moment of resilience, you continue to prove to yourself that you are capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. The more you trust in the evidence of your progress, the more unstoppable you become. Chapter 18. Commit to seeing the good in every situation. Every day, life presents us with an endless array of experiences, some joyful and uplifting, others challenging and difficult. Yet, no matter what the external circumstances may be, there's always an opportunity to choose how we respond. Our perspective has the power to shape how we experience the world, and this is why committing to seeing the good in every situation is such a transformative practice. It's not always easy to see the good, especially when we're faced with adversity. When things go wrong, when setbacks occur, or when our expectations fall short, it's tempting to focus on the negatives. It's natural to feel disappointment, frustration, or even anger when things aren't going the way we hoped. However, within every challenge lies a seed of opportunity, and it's this shift in mindset that allows us to turn even the most difficult situations into stepping stones for growth. The power of this choice lies in our ability to see beyond the surface of the circumstances and recognize the deeper lessons and blessings that can emerge from them. Seeing the good in every situation starts with cultivating a mindset of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool that shifts our focus from what is lacking or going wrong to what is abundant and right. When we commit to focusing on the positive aspects of life, we train our minds to recognize opportunities, solutions, and lessons instead of dwelling on problems. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring difficulties. It means choosing to find the lessons and the silver linings that exist, even in the midst of hardship. Each day presents us with countless things to be thankful for, and by making a habit of acknowledging them, we begin to develop a positive outlook that permeates all areas of our lives. Another essential aspect of seeing the good is learning to reframe challenges. Instead of viewing obstacles as roadblocks, we can choose to see them as opportunities to learn, grow, and improve. Every setback, every moment of failure, can be reframed as a lesson in resilience and perseverance. When we choose to see the good, we stop perceiving challenges as punishments or signs of our inadequacy. Instead, we understand them as valuable teachers that offer us the wisdom and skills necessary to become stronger and more capable. This shift in perspective doesn't deny the reality of difficulty. It simply empowers us to view it through a lens of possibility. Reframing challenges requires an intentional decision to look for what can be gained from the experience. For example, when a project at work doesn't go as planned, it's easy to feel like we've failed. However, when we commit to seeing the good, we might recognize that the situation taught us a new skill, helped us understand our weaknesses, or forced us to think in innovative ways. These lessons are invaluable and provide the foundation for future success. When we commit to this way of thinking, we stop defining our worth by outcomes alone, and instead measure our success by the wisdom we gain and the growth we experience. It's important to remember that seeing the good doesn't mean forcing ourselves to feel positive all the time. It's not about ignoring our emotions or pretending that everything is fine when it's not. Emotions are valid, and it's okay to experience sadness, frustration, or disappointment. However, we don't have to be defined by these emotions. We have the power to choose how long we allow negative emotions to control us. By committing to seeing the good, we actively choose to shift our focus from what's not working to what is, and we take proactive steps to regain our balance and move forward. One of the most powerful tools in seeing the good is the practice of mindfulness. Mindfulness allows us to be fully present in each moment without judgment. When we are mindful, we can observe our thoughts and emotions without getting caught up in them. This means that when negative thoughts arise, we can acknowledge them without letting them dictate our behavior or mood. We can choose to redirect our focus toward the positive aspects of the situation, no matter how small they may seem. This practice helps us develop a deeper sense of awareness and control over our thoughts, making it easier to choose optimism over pessimism. Seeing the good also involves changing the way we interpret the actions of others. It's easy to take offense or assume the worst when others don't meet our expectations or when they act in ways we don't understand. But when we commit to seeing the good, we choose to approach others with compassion and understanding. Instead of assuming ill intent, we can look for the positive motivations behind their actions. People are often doing the best they can with the knowledge and resources they have, and by focusing on their good qualities, we open ourselves to more positive interactions and stronger relationships. Our interactions with others can become a reflection of our own mindset. When we see the good in others, we foster an environment of positivity, support, and collaboration.
We encourage others to do the same, creating a ripple effect that spreads throughout our communities. This practice of seeing the good in others also extends to ourselves. By practicing self-compassion and focusing on our own strengths and progress, we develop a healthier self-image and a greater sense of confidence. There's also an element of trust involved in seeing the good. When we commit to this mindset, we trust that everything is happening for a reason, even if we can't always see it in the moment. Trusting that there is purpose behind every experience, whether good or bad, helps us stay grounded and optimistic. Even in moments of uncertainty, we can trust that there are lessons to be learned, growth to be had, and opportunities to be seized. Trusting in the process of life allows us to maintain our faith in ourselves and in the world around us, no matter what challenges we may face. This doesn't mean that bad things won't happen. Life will always have its ups and downs, and there will be moments that test our resolve. But when we commit to seeing the good, we choose to rise above the negativity and find the hidden blessings in every situation. Every experience, no matter how difficult, holds the potential for growth. We may not always be able to control the circumstances we find ourselves in, but we can always control our response. And in choosing to see the good, we empower ourselves to navigate life's challenges with grace, resilience, and optimism. The habit of seeing the good is not something that happens overnight. It takes consistent practice and a willingness to shift our perspective. There will be times when it feels easier to dwell on the negative, to focus on what's going wrong, or to let fear and doubt cloud our judgment. But every time we choose to see the good, we strengthen our ability to do so again in the future. The more we practice this mindset, the more natural it becomes to look for the positive in every situation. As you continue on your journey, remember that every moment is an opportunity to practice this mindset. Every challenge is a chance to reframe your perspective. Every interaction is a chance to see the good in others, and every setback is an opportunity to find the lesson within it. The more you commit to seeing the good, the more your world will shift. You'll find that life becomes less about what goes wrong and more about what you can learn and how you can grow. By consistently choosing to focus on the good, you begin to cultivate a life filled with positivity, gratitude, and unwavering hope. You may not always be able to control the circumstances, but you can always control your perspective, and that is where your power lies.
Chapter 19. Create mental clarity by letting go of fears. Fear is one of the most powerful forces in the human experience. It has the ability to paralyze us, cloud our judgment, and distort our perception of reality. Fear often keeps us stuck in a place of indecision and doubt, preventing us from moving forward and reaching our full potential. The more we allow fear to control our thoughts, the more it compromises our ability to think clearly and make decisions that align with our true desires. If we want to achieve mental clarity and live a life of purpose and focus, we must learn to let go of our fears. The first step in releasing fear is recognizing it for what it is, a product of the mind. Fear does not have an objective existence. It is not something tangible or real. Instead, it is a mental construct that arises from our thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions. Fear is often based on hypothetical scenarios, what might happen in the future or what could go wrong. But the future is uncertain, and the outcomes we fear are often far from the reality of the present moment. When we can recognize that fear is born from our mind's tendency to imagine worst-case scenarios, we can begin to detach from it. Understanding that fear is just a mental creation allows us to begin the process of letting it go. This does not mean that fear will disappear overnight. It's important to acknowledge that fear is a natural part of the human experience, and it will arise from time to time. But what we can control is how we respond to it. We have the power to choose whether we will let fear dictate our actions or whether we will rise above it and take charge of our minds. The more we practice letting go of fear, the more mental clarity we create for ourselves. One effective way to release fear is through mindfulness. Mindfulness allows us to become aware of our thoughts and emotions without becoming consumed by them. When fear arises, mindfulness helps us to observe it without judgment. Instead of reacting to fear with anxiety or avoidance, we can simply acknowledge it and allow it to pass. Mindfulness gives us the space to separate ourselves from our fearful thoughts and see them for what they are: temporary mental patterns that do not define us. This awareness brings clarity as we stop allowing fear to cloud our thinking and decision-making. Another powerful technique for letting go of fear is to confront it head-on. Often our fears are fueled by avoidance. We fear failure, rejection, or making mistakes, so we avoid taking risks or stepping outside our comfort zones. But by avoiding fear, we give it more power. The longer we avoid facing our fears, the more they grow in our minds. When we confront fear directly, we rob it of its power. Taking small, calculated steps toward the things we fear gradually diminishes its grip on us. By facing fear, we prove to ourselves that we are capable of handling challenges, and with each successful experience, our confidence grows. Another important aspect of letting go of fear is reframing our perception of failure. Many of our fears are rooted in the belief that failure is something to be avoided at all costs. We fear failing because we associate it with negative outcomes, disappointment, shame, and judgment. But failure is not something to fear, it is a stepping stone to growth and success. Failure is the process by which we learn, improve, and gain the wisdom necessary for future achievements. When we can shift our perception of failure from something to be feared to something to be embraced, we free ourselves from the paralyzing grip of fear. By letting go of our fear of failure, we create space for creativity, experimentation, and innovation. Another way to let go of fear is by shifting our focus from what we don't want to what we do want. Fear often arises when we focus on the negative outcomes we want to avoid. Our minds fixate on the worst-case scenarios, and we begin to imagine all the ways things could go wrong. But when we shift our focus to what we do want to create, we begin to cultivate a mindset of abundance and possibility. Instead of focusing on failure, we focus on success. Instead of worrying about rejection, we focus on connection. The more we align our thoughts with positive outcomes, the less room there is for fear to take hold. Our mental clarity is enhanced when we focus on the opportunities ahead rather than the obstacles in our way. A key part of this process is trusting in our ability to handle whatever comes our way. Fear thrives in the absence of trust. When we don't believe in ourselves or our abilities, fear takes root. But when we trust in our capacity to navigate challenges, fear loses its power. Trust comes from experience and practice. The more we take action despite our fears, the more evidence we gather that we are capable of overcoming difficulties. Every time we face our fears and succeed, we build a stronger foundation of trust in ourselves. This trust helps us maintain mental clarity because it shifts our focus from the unknown to the certainty of our inner strength. One of the most effective ways to let go of fear and create mental clarity is to practice self-compassion. Fear often arises from the belief that we are not good enough, not strong enough, or not capable enough. We may fear judgment, failure, or rejection because we have unrealistic expectations of ourselves.
But when we practice self-compassion, we release the pressure to be perfect and give ourselves permission to make mistakes. We understand that we are human and that failure is simply a part of the process of growth. By showing ourselves kindness and understanding, we reduce the grip of fear and create a more compassionate and clear mindset. The act of letting go of fear also requires us to embrace the present moment. Fear often arises when we focus on the past or the future. We fear the things that have already happened or the things that haven't happened yet. But the present moment is all we truly have, and it is in the present where we can take action, make decisions, and create our reality. By grounding ourselves in the present moment, we let go of the worries that fuel fear. We create space for clarity to emerge, because we are no longer distracted by the stories our minds create about what could go wrong. It's important to remember that mental clarity is not the absence of fear, it's the ability to act in the presence of fear. Fear will always be a part of life, but we do not have to let it control our actions or cloud our judgment. When we let go of our attachment to fear and stop allowing it to dictate our decisions, we open ourselves to a clearer, more focused mind. With mental clarity, we are able to see the world as it truly is, free from the distortions of fear. We can make decisions with confidence, move forward with purpose, and embrace the challenges of life with a sense of calm and clarity. By releasing fear, we step into our true power and create the space for growth, success, and fulfillment.
Chapter 20. Strengthen your mindset through daily positive action. Strengthening your mindset requires consistent effort and daily commitment. It is not something that can be achieved overnight or through a single action. It is an ongoing process of creating and reinforcing habits that empower you to think, act, and react with strength, clarity, and resilience. The foundation of a strong mindset is built through small positive actions that compound over time. These actions shape your thoughts, influence your emotions, and guide your decisions, ultimately determining the quality of your life. The first step in strengthening your mindset is to understand the immense power of your thoughts. Thoughts are not just fleeting mental events, they are the seeds from which your actions and experiences grow. Every thought you entertain has the potential to shape your reality. If you constantly think negatively, you will inevitably attract negative experiences. On the other hand, when you choose to focus on positive, empowering thoughts, you begin to shift the trajectory of your life in a more positive direction. Therefore, strengthening your mindset begins with becoming more conscious of the thoughts you allow to occupy your mind. You must develop the habit of replacing negative, self-limiting thoughts with positive, empowering ones. This takes practice, but it is possible. Start by being mindful of your internal dialogue. Pay attention to how you talk to yourself throughout the day. Are you constantly criticizing yourself, doubting your abilities, or fearing failure? Or are you encouraging yourself, acknowledging your progress, and believing in your potential? By becoming aware of these patterns, you can begin to replace negative thoughts with positive affirmations and empowering beliefs. Every time you catch yourself thinking something negative, consciously choose to replace it with a thought that aligns with your goals and values. Positive action is also key to reinforcing a strong mindset. Taking action is one of the most powerful ways to transform your thoughts into reality. The more you act in alignment with your values and aspirations, the more confidence you will build in your ability to achieve success. When you take positive, purposeful steps every day, no matter how small, you strengthen your sense of self-worth and belief in your abilities. These actions create momentum, And with momentum comes the motivation to keep going, even when challenges arise. Consistency is a crucial component of building a strong mindset. It's not enough to take action sporadically or when you feel inspired. True strength comes from showing up every single day, regardless of how you feel. There will be days when motivation seems lacking, when obstacles feel insurmountable, or when you question your progress. On those days, it is even more important to take action, because that's when your mindset will be tested. By committing to small, consistent actions every day, you train your mind to persevere and stay focused on the long-term goal. Consistency turns positive actions into habits, and habits shape your mindset over time. Your actions must also be aligned with your values. When you live in accordance with what matters most to you, you create a deep sense of purpose and fulfillment. Strengthening your mindset involves cultivating a life that reflects your highest aspirations, so that each action you take is not just a task to check off, but a step toward living your truth. When your daily actions reflect your values, they naturally reinforce your commitment to personal growth, resilience, and success. It's also important to challenge yourself regularly. Growth does not happen in your comfort zone. If you want to strengthen your mindset, you must push beyond your limits and confront the fears and doubts that hold you back. Taking on challenges is how you develop mental toughness and build the resilience needed to overcome adversity. The more you challenge yourself, the more you discover your true potential. These challenges might take many forms, such as learning a new skill, taking on a new project, or having difficult conversations. Regardless of what form they take, the act of pushing yourself out of your comfort zone forces you to develop strength in both mind and spirit. Another crucial component of strengthening your mindset is embracing setbacks and failures. No journey toward personal growth is without obstacles, and it's important to understand that setbacks are a natural part of the process. When you encounter challenges or failures, it's easy to become discouraged and question your abilities. However, setbacks are not the end, they are simply opportunities for growth. When you face setbacks with a mindset of resilience, you learn valuable lessons that help you grow stronger. Instead of seeing failure as something to fear, view it as an essential part of your development. Each time you pick yourself up after a setback, you reinforce your strength and mental fortitude. Additionally, it is vital to cultivate gratitude as part of strengthening your mindset. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools for maintaining a positive mindset, especially in challenging times. When you focus on the things you are grateful for, you shift your attention away from what's not working and begin to see the abundance in your life. Gratitude allows you to reframe your perspective, helping you stay positive even when things aren't going according to plan. Practicing gratitude daily, whether through journaling or simply taking a moment to reflect, fosters a mindset of abundance and optimism. Strengthening your mindset also requires you to protect your mental and emotional energy. You must become intentional about the people, environments, and activities you allow into your life. Surround yourself with positive influences that uplift and encourage you. Distance yourself from negativity, whether it's in the form of toxic relationships, pessimistic media, or environments that drain your energy. The more you guard your mental space and ensure it is filled with positivity, the stronger your mindset will become. Another powerful tool in strengthening your mindset is visualization. Visualization allows you to see yourself succeeding, achieving your goals, and living your desired life. The more vividly you imagine your success, the more real it becomes in your mind. Visualization helps to reprogram your subconscious mind, making your goals and aspirations feel attainable. By visualizing your success daily, you reinforce the belief that it is possible for you to achieve anything you set your mind to. Finally, strengthening your mindset involves developing emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand and manage your emotions in a healthy and constructive way. It allows you to remain calm and centered in difficult situations, make better decisions, and respond to challenges with clarity and poise. Building emotional intelligence requires self-awareness, empathy, and the ability to regulate your emotional responses. When you develop emotional intelligence, you strengthen your ability to think clearly, make rational decisions, and stay focused on your long-term goals. Strengthening your mindset is an ongoing journey. It is not something that can be accomplished in a single day or through a single action. It requires consistent positive action, self-discipline, and the willingness to push yourself beyond your limits. By focusing on daily actions that align with your goals, embracing challenges,